Boise State Esports Arena. Now, I know for many weeks throughout this entire year, I would be up here talking about the Power Esports Conference and how the Super Smash Bros. Team is continuing their run through. But today, we get to do a little bit of a special detour to check in on a game we don't normally get to cast that often. Calling all the action, my name is Audrey Norris with Jacob Palmer as we get to check in on the PlayFly Collegiate Hearthstone gameplay today. A game that both Jacob and I have a very fond place in our hearts for as we get to check in Boise State's fight through a bit of a round robin today. Now, the last time we were on this stage was a very long time ago to talk about Hearthstone with PlayFly. It was right as Death Knight was new and very devastating on the Frost Knight category. But today, we get to look at just kind of how the game has been able to evolve since then. There's been so many decks and cards that have been introduced. And to really get an understanding of what we're going to see today, we need to see how that meta has changed.
Well, first off, this is the first time in an even longer time that we have had an actual Boise State student able to compete and represent the Broncos here in Hearthstone. Bamboozled, who's going for a doctorate degree right now, is currently was also an esports coach and an avid Hearthstone player. So more than happy to play for us in the PlayFly seasons. We are currently in the spring season, and as you said with the current meta, everything right now is about the Great Dark Beyond mini set. It was probably one of the most influential mini sets ever released in Hearthstone history because it's the first time we have had an official crossover. This crossover being with StarCraft, one of Blizzard's other properties. Now, there's been sly references or Easter eggs sometimes in Hearthstone cards, but this is the first time. No, this is like an actual set based around another Blizzard game, and it has completely overwhelmed the entire meta right now. Almost every single deck in the meta is focused around those three StarCraft races, the Zerg, the Terran, and the Protoss. So we're going to be seeing a mix of all three today, which I'm really excited to see. And what's also interesting is, like you said, this is a round robin, and the meta has been very, very solid, actually, because this set was so groundbreaking for Blizzard, their first crossover event. They really wanted to give players as much time as possible to enjoy, the StarCraft meta. So they held off on balance patches until the next expansion, which is coming out next week, I believe. So everything has just been stale, or if you like this meta, it's been staying fun. So that's something really to look forward to. But yeah, you're going to be looking out for all those StarCraft decks. The Starship mechanic wasn't the best when it first released with Great Dark Beyond, but ever since the mini set came out, it has been the main talk of the town. And so we're going to be seeing a lot of Starships today, which is really cool.
Yeah, you can barely go down the meta list at this point, like scrolling through all the decks and not see Zerg, Terran, Protoss over and over and over again for every single deck. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun today to see how all of those mix around. I know when I've been playing the game, it's been at least one Zerg or Protoss consistently. Not Terran as much, but, I've gone up against some Warrior decks that have used it. And, if anything, it's nice to see Warrior again, considering how long that has been struggling. And overall, if anything, that's a nice thing to see in this meta. That Warrior's been holding on.
Last time we saw Warrior, it was in a very, it was in a
place.
Yeah, it was in a place.
Where? Who knows? But
yeah. Warrior had been really bad. I think it was March of the Lich King, like you said, right when it released. And that whole year, Warrior was just in the dumps. But now they have some viable decks. And the first team that we're going to be going up against is Northeastern University, the first round-robin match we have. And remember, how you do in the round-robin determines whether you get to go to the playoffs. We got to see the lineups of each of the schools. Boise State bringing Zerg DK, Terran Shaman, Terran Warrior, and Zerg Warlock, whereas Northeastern brought Zerg Warlock, Terran Shaman, Handbuff Hunter, and Zarimi Priest. And the bans for this particular one, Boise State banned the Priest from Northeastern, and Northeastern banned Terran Shaman. So looks like we're going to be starting out with Boise State going with Zerg Death Knight going up against the Zerg Warlock from Northeastern. This one should be really fun. Zerg Warlock, as far as Zerg decks go, tends to play for the longer game, especially. They want to use all these locations to discount their giants to flood the board. Should that not work, then Boise State, should that not work, then they're going to be wanting to use the Wheel of Death card that was released during Wizbane's workshop. Destroys your whole deck, but you're guaranteed to win in 5 turns if you can survive. So it definitely is a deck that plays for the long game, whereas Boise State, their deck is a little bit more true to kind of the whole essence of the Zerg in Warlock. This is a swarm deck. You want to buff up your Zerg as much as possible. You're looking for that one Infestor card that has the Death Rattle that allows you to buff up your Zerg permanently by 1/1 for the rest of the game. That's what Boise State needs to look for and find really fast.
Yeah, and so far they've got 2 Death Rattles on the board, which both of them have some fun mechanics to work with, while the location already up for Northeastern is going to help them kind of begin that board swarm that they're looking for here.
Yeah, it was really good for Northeastern to be able to find that taunt with that 6 health that's just so difficult to get through in the early game. It really allows them a bit of breathing room. There it is. There's the Infestor. Now, a Infestor is one thing. I mean, that's what you want to find, but you want that Death Rattle to go off as many times as possible. So he's going to be looking for his Yodeler to make that Death Rattle trigger twice. There's also the Growl card, which spreads the Death Rattle to adjacent minions. I mean, if he could draw that next turn, he's going to get 4 mana. That would be the card to draw next turn. He's going to be looking for that Death Growl. We'll see if he can get it.
Yeah, and I mean, staying true to form here, Northeastern just continuing the minion placement here, going back to Boise State. A couple options, mostly just, like you said, looking for that one card. Trying not to be too crazy on what you play until you get that setup that you want there.
Yep. Well, he's burst through the taunt, is now pushing a bit of damage onto the Warlock. And again, he's going to save that Infestor until he can find the support, because if he places that down right now, he risks it just being cleared, and that effect only goes off once. Symphony of Sins. Let's see what we get here. They're going to choose from the 7 deadly sins. It looks like they're going to choose the movement of Sloth, and then the other 6 sins get shuffled on into the deck. But that's a really good choice, really good one to pop up, because that's a very big taunt Boise State has to get through. And again, again, they're just going to go for the draw.
With Reborn is such a nasty thing to try and deal with. That's, I mean, effectively 12 health, so you're dealing with a lot.
7 health,
you're right,
remember,
7
Reborn.
health because Reborn. But that's still an incredibly frustrating card to deal with because it guarantees you have to do an additional attack to hit it, and that's just never a fun thing to deal with.
It's not quite as bad when you're playing Death Knight because their hero value gives you the 1/1 with charge, so you can just, it's effectively almost like a mage ping. Reborn isn't as bad if you're going up against those particular classes, but Bamboozled is really getting the he's getting bamboozled here in terms of what he's drawing because he's drawn none of his supports that he needs for those Infestor Death Rattles to go off. He does have this Snake Oil, which he might be able to trade here and hope he gets something better. You want to make sure he doesn't go too high in his card count and burns a card. He'll throw the Brood Queen down. That'll give him a random Zerg every time in his hand. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, he's good with 9 cards in his hand.
We love those games where you're sitting there with one piece of the puzzle, but the rest seem to be hiding at the bottom of the box somewhere. And I mean, especially with the Infestors, those are such dangerous cards. When I've been playing against them, if you don't have a good way to deal with them, they will just eat through everything you have and deal a massive amount of damage.
Ooh, talking about everything you have. He's used enough locations to swarm the board with the Seaside Giants. Now Bamboozled's in a little bit of a pickle here because he hasn't found a way to use that Infestor. He's got the Ninja Swarm, which will draw more Zerg cards, but we don't need Zerg cards. We need the Death Rattle cards to be able to use that Infestor's ability. So now he's in a really tough position. It looks like, I mean, he's got 10 cards in his hands, and he's probably played, it's turn 6, so he's probably played 5 cards. So all the cards he needed for those Infestors are in the bottom half of his deck, which is just, that's
such
just
a rough spot to be in.
Yeah. One thing he can do, though, I do like this. He's going to play the Viper. That's going to give all his minions Reborn and take a minion out of his opponent's hand. So this is also a way to get those Death Rattles to go off multiple times. Oh, but it's just one. Well, that's not bad. Everything still has a Reborn, so. But yeah, he's going to take a whole lot of damage here. This is really going to hurt. 16 to the face.
Yeah, not really anything you can do about this unless you have a way to safely block it. But, I mean, right now with the way this deck is and bringing out the new hero, I always love those types of cards that swap out how that work.
Well, as you can see, he's already got a pretty big buff now to his Zerg minions. The Death Rattle went off 2 times. And there's a Chill Fallen Bear, and again, more draw to find these cards that are supposedly in his deck that might be able to help him, but are just kind of elusive to him right now. He's going to use his location one more time. He'll get 3/3 Zerglings with Rush, so he should be able to clear this board, but before he brings out any Zerglings, he's going to make sure that he gets that Infestor Death Rattle going one more time. So now those are 4/4 with Rush. Hit them, make that 5/5 with Rush.
There it is.
Yeah, this is going to be a complete board clear for him. The one thing he's going to be hurting for, though, is he's going to be very low on health, and I'm getting very concerned because once we get to turn 8 and 9, that's where those big late-game cards can come into play from the Warlock. We're talking about the Wheel of Death. I'm most concerned about Sargeras the Titan, though. Once he comes out, he can just suck all the minions currently on the board into the Twisting Nether, and they just disappear. So this beautiful board that Bamboozled has built up for himself could just be cleared in the blink of an eye if Sargeras comes on the board.
Yeah, the big question is how Northeastern is going to handle this turn. Like you said, getting up into those higher mana areas for these types of decks is going to be dangerous for the Broncos here. So it really just depends on what he has in his hand and if he has what he needs to deal with this.
And he might also have the Ceaseless Expanse. Okay, he's going to use the Tourist here, which makes Death Rattles trigger twice. So what he's doing here is he's going to pop that location. It has the Death Rattle, summon an 8/8 with Rush.
Yep.
He can use that to start clearing out this board. He's, oh my, if he has, he's going to draw a minion, reduce its cost by 6. He probably drew Sarg there, but he still doesn't have enough. Oh no, he's got Popgar. Okay. Man, that's not the best board clear, but it will give him some healing. He's still essentially at full health Not the worst turn for him here. And he's bought a turn for himself. Remember, Sargeras is 9 mana, so he bought himself enough time. There it is, right there, of course. We could have used you, 5 turns earlier, but because now we don't have any more Infestors left, so there's no minion to use that card with.
It was a little late to the party. Got lost, took a couple wrong turns down the street.
You're late to the party.
We'll have to see where this goes now, as good board, but like you said, that 9 mana turn is right around the corner here, and 9 health is a scary spot to be. Going to get some extra cards in the deck, see what we can work with here.
He'll get a Baneling, and that has the Death Rattle that it does damage to all your enemies, depending on that minion's current
I dislike
attack.
Cards
yeah,
so much.
yeah. And
that
of course, when you're buffing things up, that Baneling has 5 attacks, so it'll deal 5 to everything.
I have a love-hate relationship with that card.
Yeah, that's the other one. That's the other one. Ceaseless Expanse, released in the most recent expansion, starts out 100, but for every card played, every minion played, and every minion that dies, the costs decrease by 1. And later on in the game, that just means it costs 0 and clears the whole board. You got a 15/15 on deck. And yeah, just the low health, that damage, those two giants that hit the board early because of all those location use was the downfall. That just shows you he needed to get the Infestor right away, but
unfortunately wasn't the way that matchup was going to go. But it's not the first, it's not the end here. That is the first of the best of 3, right?
Yep.
For that.
It is Conquest best of 3, which means each player brings 4 decks to the board. One of them gets banned by the other player, and then you have to win once with each of the 3 decks. So it's effectively a best out of 5, first to 3 wins, but you have to win once with every deck, which means, if we bring up the lineups again, Northeastern, he's won with the Warlock. You can see the little gold ring around that saying that he's won. So now he needs to choose either Terran Shaman or Handbuff Hunter, which also has a little bit of Zerginess going with it. So we'll see what he picks. In terms of Terrans, Shaman is probably the most popular, the most aggressive of them at all. It's looking to end the game quite early. Although that also depends if they use if he has the Photographer Fizzle in deck, you can also make the Terran Shaman into a long game deck too. It is so frustrating to go up against. So we'll just have to see what flavor it is. But here we go. The keys to the game in Hearthstone
are going to be planning your lineup, knowing your mulligans, anticipating open opponents' curves, and be proactive in your play. Hearthstone is a mind game as much as it is a card game, after all. And if you are an esports fan, while you're here cheering for the best in gaming, let us introduce you to the MVPs of painting, Blue Ribbon Painting. With over 90 years of combined experience, we're proud to be Boise's go-to team of local, multi-generational painters who know exactly how to level up your home. Ready to transform your space? Visit blueribbonpainting.net to schedule your free estimate.
They did a great job repainting the battleground. Nice, fresh blue walls everywhere, and the lobby looks great too. They did an extremely good job. Okay, gonna move on to the Hunter. Boise State is going to be moving on to the deck that we just saw Northeastern win with. So he's going to be looking for, I think the spawning pool is going to be a keep, definitely, because you want to use those locations like we saw to get those giants all discounted.
Yeah, and this will be a nice kind of rollback from the previous matchup where we weren't really seeing the thought process behind the deck. Now we get to see it as, the location is going to go down. We talked about how helpful this can be, in the setups, and we saw that a lot as well. I'm glad to see a Hunter deck in this, as it is one of my favorite classes to play. But Handbuff is very interesting. I mean, as it is a find the cards you need, buff them, throw them out, make them scary.
Yeah, there's one version of this that uses the Zerg mechanic, as we saw the Zergling copies itself, so you buff that up, and that's where the hand buff obviously comes in from the Hunter. But then there's a really stupid version of this deck called Grunt Hunter, which uses Warsong Grunt. Yeah. In case you don't know, Warsong Grunt is a minion that every time it attacks an opponent's minion, it can attack again. So it can attack all your minions once. You pair that up with a card that gives it piercing damage, and you just basically kill your opponent in one turn, make them feel stupid for playing the game and playing minions in the first place. It's toxic. It's not what Hearthstone's supposed to be. I'm so glad Grunt is rotating in the yearly rotation. That's my hot take and 2 cents. Anyone who plays that deck, you should be ashamed of yourself.
That deck reminds me of when we were stuck in that meta where it was very much you're looking for that one-turn knockout that just makes the other person feel like just so like frustrated after the fact.
And to be fair, a lot of the general morale around the game of Hearthstone is based on how much does the board matter. At the end of the day, Hearthstone is a game that's supposed to be about board presence, minions trading, trying to build up tempo on the board. That's what it was founded on. And as the game has been power crept more and more and more, it's led to some metas where there are such great clear cards, cards that can just wipe the board, that it's just been a thing of like, you know, okay, it doesn't matter what you play, I'm just going to continuously wipe the board until I get to my win condition and the board doesn't matter. And people don't like that kind of gameplay. It was actually very prevalent a little earlier this year. There's a lot of neutral board wipes. Yogg Saron, Ceaseless Expanse, he's neutral. Just a lot of stuff that made it feel like the board didn't matter. And right before this mini set release, Blizzard nerfed a bunch of those board wipes. You'll still see a lot of them are still really good.
But they're not as prevalent
they're
anymore,
not as prevalent,
which is nice to see because, yeah, those types of board wipe games were only not necessarily fun per se, but like felt at least somewhat okay if you were also playing a more wipey deck, because at least like if they wiped all of your cards and built a board, then you could just do it right back to them. But if you didn't have that, you just watched in horror over and over and over again. But right now, looking at the game, we've got a pretty good stack of cards here. The Ceaseless Expanse always looks so intimidating, but it's really funny to watch the slow tick down all the way from 100. And I mean, right when he pulled it, we're already almost 40 down from where we were at this point.
Well, that's a pretty good draw. He got the taunt. He got one of his locations as well. The problem is he's a little short on mana, so he might just play one of these taunt. It won't get the buff from the location, but it might just protect his health. And we saw earlier, you know, he went down too low on health in the beginning, and that's what allowed him to, that's what made it so he couldn't really recover. Problem is that spawning pool now pops this turn, so all of these Zerglings that are summoned are going to have rush. They can attack instantly. And so that'll just plow right through. Oh, that's not good. Oh, yeah. I think the game might be won already. That is way too much.
That is a nasty board right there. I mean, oh, wow, okay, yep. That's some more. Yeah, it's not going to be the knockout right there, but looking at the options, there's not a lot here. There is some.
I mean, the Ultralisk Cavern, that'll clear out 2. There's 4 left on the board. He can place down this taunt. Problem is that, yeah, there's just not a way for him to win this because the other spawning pool's on the board. That thing will pop, and then that'll give whatever he's been hand buffing rush as well. So there's just no way out of this. You're going to see whatever Zerg or whatever BS he's been hand buffing right now with this stupid cup of muscle. He's going to come on out and just get rid of this taunt in one foul swoop. Yep, there you go, and that's game again.
Yeah, that. There's not a lot you can do in a situation like that, though. On a side thing, the idea of your opponent just sitting on the other side of the table with this one little Zergling and just like going, here, take another drink, just over and over and over again until it's just this giant creature, and then you're like, what are you going to do about that?
Well, now we get to take a little bit of a break from Zerg, and we get to showcase one of the other main races in Warlock. The only deck left for Northeastern is their Terran Shaman, and I do not necessarily have good news for Boise State, because if all these aggressive decks is what's been getting them, Terran Shaman is also a really fast deck that can really pack a punch. The thing is, though, is that it focuses around the starships, which is one of my favorite mechanics that they have released. Basically, you play these starship pieces, and every time they die, they go into a starship. And you can pay 5 mana to launch that starship, and it has all the effects and everything combined that all those starship pieces have. You'll see if it still doesn't make sense. You'll see as we go along here. Right now, Boise State is bringing out
I love him.
Yeah, he's rotating. He's going to be missed.
It's so sad. I love that's one of my favorite expansions. Like thematically, it was so fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. Not as fun though. The Bomb Boss Thorgan from Showdown in the Badlands. I hate those TNTs so much. This is he's playing a much slower deck. He's playing the Terran Warrior. So he's going to mainly be playing a lot of defensive starships that help him gain armor, trying to play for the long game. So Northeastern kind of wants to finish him off as soon as possible, and that's a really good start for them, drawing that launch pad right off the bat. And they got probably what is the best starship piece there, the Liberator. So that'll go into the starship, and then what the Liberator does when the starship launches, it deals 2 damage to all enemies. So it's a very integral part of a board wipe.
Yeah, that's a dangerous card there. But I think having this potential to hold on until the late game could be good here for Boise State, as long as they can get the cards they need to survive this initial assault from the Terran Shaman here. Though it is a pretty interesting setup.
He's got 2 brawls, the shield block also. He'll use that. That's a great draw, the concussive shells. He could take out the Turbulus with that, trade it. It'll discount the starship launch, so that'll be another good thing. He can get that Raven into the starship pool. That'll give 3 random effects to the starship when it launches. So it could give it Wind Fury, Rush, Lifesteal, all that good stuff. That is the worst one right there, Medevac. That is the one people don't like. It gives you 2/2/2 taunts, but I mean, really, it's not what people are looking for. That's a lot of pressure, though. So that particular Ziliax 3000, what it does is its health doubles at the beginning of every turn. Attack, excuse me, doubles at the beginning of every turn. So he couldn't afford to let that stay on the board. That was a must remove. So
and luckily for him, the brawl did not go its way. That would be an unfortunate moment using a brawl car, and the one thing you don't want comes out of it. But yeah.
Oh, this is beautiful too. Medevacs here.
Geez.
So when that starship launches, he's going to get 4 2/2 taunts. That's going to clog up his board more than anything.
Hey, look who's back. To remind us, of what just got knocked out.
Yep. Ziliax Deluxe 3000, now the most nerfed card in Hearthstone history, and it's still good.
I'm really not shocked by that. When it first came out, just with all the different combinations that were so viable, it was such a scary thing to see on the board. Now you just don't see as many of the combinations at this point. Like, there's more standardized play with it, but he's still a menace.
So if he was playing Bamboozled to curve now, he would play Ham the Hungry here. He could also play Bob. That gives him a free turn. And, Bob is... I love the character. I hate the card.
That's fair. I mean, I enjoy the character as well. Just whenever you pop into the other game mode and he's there talking to you while you're getting set up, it's a fun thing. He's a neat little card, though. I mean, if you're the one who has it, of course.
Yeah, of course. He can freeze the enemy board, and he could completely lock out the other player here from a turn. Yeah, he's going to do that. I suspect he just freezes the board, gives him a free turn because the board is completely full for his opponent. But the main thing that everyone hates Bob for is that you can take one of your opponent's minions and you give him 3 coins, which is hardly a fair trade in my mind. It just ends up clogging up their hand, making them burn a card most of the time. So there's a reason why he's... Oh, is he? Oh, he's going for the brawl here. He's going...
All right,
okay.
Here we go. I mean, realistically speaking, solid way to get the board clear out. So the question is, who remains? And
I think there actually are some more brawls there in that Fizzle snapshot. So he's got even more board clears. And he's looking for that Ziliax to be on the board. Ziliax Deluxe 3000 can be configured in many different ways to give you different effects. The one specific variant he's looking for is called Unkilliax, because it has Elusive and Reborn, and then you bring it back with the Hydration Station, and it has Lifesteal, so you're healing up when you're using it. It's just not a fun time going up against him.
Yeah, it's a very hard card to get off the field, but it looks like things might have slowed down a little bit for Northeastern, popping a totem there. And not
Let's brawl again. I like this gameplay. Let's just continue.
This is the gameplay we're here for, is the continuous brawl over and over and over again. I like how the totem's the one thing that got out of it.
Yeah, that's
how it won the brawl.
You don't know.
Who knows? It just kind of sat there, and I think everyone forgot it was a contestant.
That was really, everyone just killed each other, and the totem was there, just the stationary object that survived. Yeah, you know, the Starship isn't the most impressive thing right now, but it does give him more armor, and he's looking to just get to the turn where he can play on Kiliax, so that isn't the worst thing. A lot of times I see players, they want to build up the perfect Starship, so they just leave it sitting there, and they never use it for the whole game.
Yeah, but that's just, I mean, that's the sunken cost fallacy in play right there. Sometimes if you choose not to activate the Starship when it could be your survival in a situation.
Yeah, but this is going to hurt right now. He's got the Liberator in there.
And that is going to knock out that first part of the taunt. Now it's gone.
Ooh, and yeah, the siege tank, that really hurts. It deals 10 damage to a minion in excess, hits the enemy hero if you've launched a Starship. So yeah.
Here we go.
The best he can do is just play Unkiliax here. But here's the thing is, if his opponent has Bob, that card that we just said, he could just pluck that Unkiliax right off the board and just end it right here. No, okay, he's going to be forced to trade into it, it looks like, which was just what Boise State wants here.
Yeah, that's...
Unless he's just playing us.
And you know, this is only version 1 of Unkiliax. There is a second one chilling in the hand right now, so depending on how this turn goes, it's not the end.
Oh, he'll bring out Jim.
Raynor come out, yeah.
Jim Raynor relaunches every Starship you've launched this game, so that'll clear the Unkiliax, and his hero power, this is going to hurt. It buffs up all the minions by 2 attack.
Wow,
so he is just going to go full ahead. Yeah, that's really well played right there. He counted up all the damage. And even Unkiliax wasn't able to stop it. So Boise State just fell victim to very aggressive fast play by Northeastern. A lot of the decks that Boise State played usually took a little time to wind up, like the Terran Warlock, or in this case, the Zerg DK, which usually doesn't take that much time to wind up. But again, like as we saw, if the cards you need are at the bottom of your deck, then it does take a long time.
There's not much you can do if you're... The one essential card decides to be potentially just the last card in your deck. You never know. And if you don't have a way to get the good discovery going through, or it's just not pulling the card that you need, that's just going to be the end of it there. But overall, I mean, it was still really good. I think seeing such a variety of all the different factions for the StarCraft was a good way to go in there, though we didn't see much of Protoss. A lot of Zerg.
We got Protoss. I'm sure we're going to see some Protoss later.
I wouldn't be shocked. We just need to see some of the other classes.
Well, we are ready to head on into the second match, though, of this round-robin match. The next university that Boise State is set to go up against is Carnegie Mellon University. Is not Bamity. His lineup, it looks like he's bringing a Zerg Warlock, a Zarimi Priest, a Hand Buff Hunter, and a Terran Shaman. The exact same thing that Northeastern brought, because it is meta right now. You know, they are the best decks. But Boise State has swapped things up a bit. They're not going to ban the Zarimi Priest. Instead, they're going to ban the Hand Buff Hunter.
Not necessarily blaming them in that situation, Hand Buff Hunter, under the right circumstances. As we saw, very problematic to deal with, but that does mean we'll get to see a little bit from the Zarimi Priest this time around.
Yep. Now, Zarimi Priest, that's one of the very few decks that's kind of viable that doesn't have the whole StarCraft thing in it right now. It all focuses around Timewinder Zarimi, who released in Whizbane's Workshop, who, if you've played a certain amount of dragons during the game, when you play him, you get to take an extra turn, which can be very devastating, basically kill your opponent off that one effect. So we'll see how Carnegie Mellon does. Boise State is going to be starting off on the Zerg Warlock that we saw. So this is what we're going to need.
All right, we know what we need.
Yep.
The question is.
Well, actually, no. This is the Zerg DK. Excuse me. This is the Zerg Warlock. So this isn't the worst start. He'll be able to get some stuff with the Nindus Worm. Oh, actually, is this a mirror match? Yeah, this is Zerg Warlock versus Zerg Warlock. This will be fun.
This will be a very interesting mirror matchup. in general, like, I found that mirror matchups this meta have been especially scary just because you're like, I know exactly what you need. And it's felt a little bit more, I don't know, just nerve-wracking to play in mirror matchups. Like, there's been metas where I'm like, oh, yay, a mirror matchup. This will be fun. This one I'm like, oh, no, a mirror matchup. It's okay. I'm good.
Well, the one player who wins, and I hate to make it this simplistic, but whoever might be able to play Wheel of Death first might actually be the one who walks away from this, because that just puts a hard 5-time limit on your 5-turn time limit on your opponent that they have to kill you by, or else you just win the game.
Yeah, so we'll probably see a lot of card searching this game, everyone trying their best to get the cards they need for that timer there.
Oh, he's going to place Forge of Wills down. That's meant to copy the big minion that you... Oh, he could settle. Okay, he'll be happy. Okay, yeah, this is still fine. He can summon 2 8/8s. That's a big presence that needs to be dealt with now.
And at turn 5 here, that's a really good lineup to have. A lot of board pressure early on. And a taunt also keeping them somewhat safe, at least from anything board-wise. But though the taunt's going to go up as well. Smart decision. You don't want to get those 8/8s to your face.
Yeah, problem is he's got his own Forge of Wills. He can copy one of those 8/7s now, make that have rush, and then just do 16 damage, 20 damage to the face. Yeah.
Whew. We might not even need the Wheel of Death here, depending on how the board shakes up after not Bamity's turn.
He's going to bring out good old Bob to freeze the board and try to buy himself another turn and see if he can live that way.
Okay,
UTC Band Manager gets to check his Hearthstone's equivalent of a sideboard if he plays that. Oh, and he drew Kerrigan, discounts it to 6. That's going to mean he has 3 damage in hand, so, I mean, he can use that with the hero power, I suppose, and it seems like this match is all done and dusted. I don't know what Not Bamity could possibly play here to clear this board.
Yeah, definitely a head-scratcher here. You don't want to mess up anything trying to figure out what you can do. I mean, just as things stand, if you can't get enough of these off the board, which is to say, I guess, majority of these need to be off the board if you don't want to go down.
I'd say all of them need to be off the board. I mean, the taunts can't attack, but they are still Zergs, so they do count towards Zerg hero power.
That will get rid of
not enough
them, but not all of them.
Well, he'll use the consume. Next? Okay, that gives him. He can copy that.
Yep.
Keep going. He's popping off. But he's still got those 2 taunts. Well, he can get rid of the Indisworm too.
Okay, and now it's those 8/8s that need to go down.
Nice job.
Go through. And a Seaside Giant with all the location play.
Here's the problem, though, is that we've got this domino effect here, which... oh, no, it's our old friend Bob. I say friend in massive scare quotes because no one really likes Bob. I mean,
people like Bob, but like Bob's card.
They don't like Bob.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Bob, they're fine with. They just hate Bob.
Exactly. You know, as one does with the card game known as Hearthstone.
Just look at him being there. He's being Bob. I'm Bob. I have the sword. I can steal a minion. Look at me. Well, he could play the Kerrigan here. That would get rid of the 2 Brood Queens, but it wouldn't deal with these 8/8s. Thing is, he's got Jailer of Yogg in his hand there, and
there it is.
He's going to use that to find the Sargeras, I bet.
There's
Sargeras or Ceaseless. He could maybe... we don't know if Ceaseless is going to cost 0 is the thing. He's going to gamble on it. What's it going to cost? 40? Oh, he is still very... But he does get to copy the 15/15. So that's a world of hurt for you. Still a lot of threat. And he places his own giant down that he's used all of these locations.
Yeah, Carnegie now kind of in a similar position, actually a worse position. Well, yeah, about the same, bit worse with at least damage-wise, but less minions to deal with. Still just not a fun spot to be in here. That is, I think, looking at the damage, yeah, that is a knockout quite swimmingly for Boise State.
Which, as things have gone, has, especially this year with the power creep, has become more and more of the game of Hearthstone is big board I make, if you don't clear it, you dead.
Yep.
But that's why I'm actually very excited for Into the Emerald Dream. I don't know if you got a chance to I don't know if you got the chance to see all the changes coming up with rotation, but they're taking out a lot of the big board clears and board wipes. They're wanting to focus on more late game stuff, trying to get rid of all these big board clears and the charge minions as well, which have been a big problem in the current meta. So
I haven't been able to look at it as much, but being able to get rid of some of those more nasty big cards, like going into more of a late game area for the meta would be interesting. Here we are. Board is cleared.
yeah, but Kerrigan is going to clear this board beautifully, so I have to imagine he plays that. Yep.
Yep.
Green that out, gives him 2 Brood Queens to play with, gets him more Zerg he can use on the board. The Hero Power will just clear this out. Yeah, that's a good amount of damage. Now back up against the wall with 12 health. Ceaseless now down to 27, so that'll be a good counter to this inevitable late game seesaw that we see back and forth. Oh, he brings out the Sarg. Now he's probably going to use that so he gets taunts every single turn, and he can copy that to make a 6-12 with Rush.
Yeah, that's going to go down. And the taunts are out as well.
I think it's all going to come down to, I think, the turn that Ceaseless is able to be used, because then he can clear out his board, and then whatever he has left can just kind of go charge face. Zergs he got, not quite the ones he's looking for. He could bring out Bob. Oh, no, no. Yes, he could bring out Bob to steal Sarg.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's the reason people hate Bob. But the problem is, if he does that, it's a big enough board. Oh, does he risk it? He only has 20 health. Oh, is he going to go? He's going to go. Is he going full baller? He is. Everyone hates to see it.
There it is.
Nice minion you played. I think I'll take it. It's so mean. And then he gives him coins, which is going to make his hand too full, so he's going to burn a card next turn as well. I just love Bob so much.
Still have to
The interesting thing is that Bob released like right before Great Dark Beyond 2, so everyone was like, so Blizzard, you're releasing an expansion that is all focused around these starships, these big meaningful minions that are meant to sway the game in your favor, and you're trying to get everyone all hyped up to use these big, powerful minions, and then you release right before that a card that steals big, powerful minions. Right after you nerfed 5 other cards because you said you didn't want those big, powerful minions to be stolen, but also we're going to release Bob.
There's obviously...
Make it make sense, Blizzard. You know, it can't
obviously logical deduction right there with the card. You know, if they just made the, like, if they just said, oh, we don't want them to be stolen, but no, they nerfed other cards. That's, someone on the Hearthstone development team did not get the memo there.
No. That's what a lot of people were actually thinking. There was like miscommunication probably between one part of the team and the other.
They're like, but like, it was like, oh, we could make this really cool card, Bob. And it's like, yeah, sure, release him. And then it's like, wait.
What? But he's Bob. Who isn't going to like Bob?
Yeah, everyone's going to like
Bob. I don't like Bob. That's right. Eat it, Bob.
Yeah.
Okay. The good news is he's getting nerfed next balance patch, and the nerf, it's a fair one. It's the one I thought they would implement. He's basically now, he's going to add a copy of your opponent's minion to your hand, and then give your opponent 3 coins. So it won't steal it. Your opponent can still use their big minion.
Which is a very, I think, reasonable way to do that without completely adjusting the effect there. We're going to burn a card on this side as well.
Oh, Sarg costs 9. As Sarg costs 9 and the Ceaseless Expanse costs 9. So what he would love to do, I mean, if he could use Ceaseless here to clear the board, then he would have the safety net to play Sarg and give the taunts, because Sarg is a Titan, kind of the Hearthstone equivalent of Planeswalkers from Magic. They have 3 abilities you can use once they hit the board. And one of the abilities that Sarg has is give all demons summoned from the Twisting Nether +2 health and taunt, which is very good in the late game.
Yeah, a good stalling tactic, which would be needed here. But the board right now is just a little too dense. I mean, with the 6-9 and 6-5, not a lot of time to decide. But instead of playing Ceaseless, going right into Zarg there.
He's going to instead use another ability to the Void, which just sends everyone else to the Void. Their death rattles don't trigger, but it means these demons that are summoned do not get taunt. But it is still a big board swing back over to him. Again, one that probably shouldn't have happened because Bob stole that minion. That's a stolen Sargeras there, Bamboozled. I don't care if you're playing for us. I'm really disappointed in you.
Yeah, I mean, back onto not Bamity's side, though. Having to decide how to deal with the board clear and facing their stolen minion. With additional effects on the way.
There's so many late game options, though, with this particular deck. He could play Reverberations, which would copy the Bob, copy the Sarg, excuse me, so he could use his own Sarg. And it makes it so each minion can only be... no, he's going to use Jailer instead.
Okay.
What's he going to be looking for? It's probably got to be, his own version. No, it's not Ceaseless.
Okay, it's going to be, I mean, the taunt minion.
That's not enough, though.
No. There needs to be more. Debating?
There, Ceaseless. But, I mean, here's
the unfortunate thing about that.
Is that one Ceaseless kind of deserves another, so we're going to see another Ceaseless brought out.
Now at 0, a lot of room to work with here.
And I think he also plays the Pop Guard here. He needs that lifesteal because he's down to just 2 health.
Oh, what a... Playing a Ceaseless and then immediately having your Ceaseless eaten by
and the other
Ceaseless.
It's a ceaseless cycle of misery.
I know, it's just keeps going around and it's all gone. And there's the Reverberations you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. What's he still got left that he could copy? He could get 2 Sargs. There we go.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's go, baby.
Oh my goodness. If you haven't seen enough of Sarg yet this game, don't worry. He's hanging around, though. I don't even know if we'll see the second one, considering where the health pool is. Just depends on what we pick here. 6 damage to all characters.
Oh, could he still have found a way to get lethal here? That's huge. It brings Boise State down to 4.
Oh.
And he's got his own Pop Guard, which does 4. What a clutch right there
Look at
by
that.
Carnegie Mellon. Oh, because the other 2 Sargs, that would have just cooked him in the late game. Wow, what a great play there, seeing the lethal to clutch it.
Just bring out the Pop Guard, and there goes the deck there, as Boise State is not able to take the match for this first deck. You know, I was very surprised at that one. Like, looking at the lineup, I'm like, this is a very comfortable position for Boise State. But, you know, as we were seeing that mirror matchup, we saw Pop Guard come out to give some room for Boise State, and exact same thing for Carnegie Mellon there.
It's also a win that I think it's karma, just to be perfectly honest. Carnegie Mellon used Bob to freeze the board, which is an annoying ability, but it isn't the worst ability either. Boise State used the evil ability, which was steal a minion, and they got what was coming to them. You know, you're tempting fate.
We made a choice, and, you know, Hearthstone heard and knew what was going to happen as a result.
Now it's either Terran Shaman or Zarimi Priest. Terran Shaman, both of them are ones that can be pretty aggressive decks, though, which means we could have a similar problem to Boise State just getting bowled over with all of its Terran Warrior, which, if you remember, because of Conquest, needs to get through. It needs to win at least once.
Yep.
It needs to win once, then it's out of the lineup, excuse me.
Yeah, so the question is, use it now or use it later, try to get it out of the way and potentially get the win off of it, or try to find something with a previous deck. But
Get out of there, Bob! I don't want to see you!
He's there right now. We'll see where this goes. Going to replace every single card, though, and it is going to be the Warrior deck coming out against the Priest. So we're going to see that, as you mentioned earlier, one of the few decks in the meta that isn't using the StarCraft mechanics so much.
He's not going to play that concussive shells yet. There are some good targets that could go on to.
You know,
that's one you got to get rid of as soon as possible.
Yep.
It gives you whelps at the end of every turn. They're dragons, which counts toward the Zarimi goal. So that's a good one to get here. If he's looking to just tank this out, then I think it's called the Viking. We'll get
that's the Viking, yeah. But that's
the Viking.
That's terrifying right there. The double on the board. The longer that sits there, the more just stall. And as you said, you know, working up towards the Zarini.
Well, he'll clear one, but he's got one more to do. But he can now place 2 of those whelps down because I think they only cost 1 mana. Oh, but he's going to play another dragon, Gorgon Zormu.
I love that card. He's a very fun one. He's just a friendly cheese-eating dragon who also gives you a card that slowly increases.
He gives you cheese.
Yeah, he gives you cheese. He gives you the cheese card. And that cheese card summons 3 random, depending on how long you wait, mana cards. You know, it starts at 2, goes up.
Oh, that's not what he wanted to hit.
Yeah, you don't want that gone, but yeah, Gorgon Zormu, great for the cheese he gives you, not much else. I mean, he's good. It's always good to have the card, but definitely would have rathered something else instead. Those taunts are going to go up, and that, now with the card draw and the taunt, Carnegie Mellon has a lot to work with, but they do have to be careful with how many cards they have.
Just got the Liberator, and that's probably just what he wanted, because he could use that if he launches a Starship here to clear the board. The Yamato attacks into the Whelp Wrangler. Yeah, that's going to be the call.
There it is, yeah.
Takes control of the board and can use shield block here. Gain some more armor because he wants to tank up as much as he can for this Zarimi turn. Because taking an extra turn, you load up your board with the turn you play Zarimi, and then you attack with all the minions the next time. Here's Ham the Hungry. I mean, if you could just go, you know, hope for the best and maybe Zarimi gets eaten. No.
Unfortunately.
Would have been nice, but
through. Oh, and there's a Protoss card.
It does summon, I think it's mainly used for this 3/4 charge, which is such a huge, and it can be copied too, yeah, with Hallucination.
That charge minion is very devastating too. He's not a fun one to go up against. That is going to go through, though. The shields are going to hold up for Boise State here.
Two defense crystals. He could just play those. Yeah, he's going to just throw up all the taunts he can. Remember, those defense crystals give a whole lot of... they give a lot of... I lost my train of thought.
It's all right. There's
you know what? It doesn't even matter. Amun Thol has just entered, and he can just remove minions from the game. So, you know, that's lovely, too. Yeah.
It's okay. He made sure you didn't have to finish the thought because the cards are gone now. We don't have to think about it.
I appreciate. Thank you, Amun Thol. I still hate you.
One time. This is the one thing.
Now, if he was on our side of the board, I would love him.
Exactly.
But I hate him right now.
Oh, hey, Ziliax.
Yeah, he would have been discounted if that Death Rattle had gone off. But, okay, I don't care if we're playing him or the opponent's playing him. I hate Bombas so much. He shuffles 6 TNTs that cost 6.
Yep.
No, excuse me. The TNTs cost 6. He doesn't shuffle 6. He shuffles 3 TNTs that each cost 6 mana. That's 666, which, judging by the effect, might as well be the thematic equivalent of it. Because when you draw one of those TNTs, it gets rid of a card in your hand, in your deck, and on your field. It takes away so much. I think there was actually there's a a Yu-Gi-Oh card that was like very popular in the meta that had the similar effect. I'm looking this up right now. This is just because it is that this game's version of that, and
yeah, wow,
yeah, sorry, just a second, I gotta look up Yu-Gi-Oh.
While he's looking that up to try and confirm his thought process here, I mean, there's 2 taunts on the board. One of them has lifesteal. Just a lot to contend with, but Bob, back out, is a potential staller.
There it is, there it is.
State.
Trishalla, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. It has the effect, when this card is synchro summoned, you can banish up to 1 card each from your opponent's hand, field, or graveyard. And it doesn't do the exact same thing, but the TNT gets rid of a card from your opponent's field, hand, and deck, which is still very bad.
Yep. And while that was going on, Ziliax enters the field with a cavalcade of abilities there, able to break up and give some room, as well as a taunt with Reborn and Poisonous. That's not a fun card to try and tangle with here. We are going to see Scale Replica go out.
I'm very afraid here for a very specific reason. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, no. Oh, no, he copies the Ankyliax. Oh, no, yeah, that was the last Titan ability he had. So, and he gets to discover another legendary minion on top of that. I was worried so much about Bob that I forgot about Amonthol. Yeah, that's a really
that's an unfortunate spot there for Bamboozled. And still room to work with, you know, not much mana used just yet for Carnegie Mellon here. Benevolent Banker goes out and gonna get another card through that. My goodness.
We'll see what he gives the bot there. Orbital Halo is such a nasty card.
Divine Shield on taunt minions. So painful. And we see, yeah, just... Okay.
I mean, he's got Bob, but he doesn't really have anyone else is the problem. And when Bob's your only friend, that's really a problem. That shows you have problems.
Hydration Station goes
Only gonna
out.
bring back 2. One of them is the Ankyliax, though, so that in and of itself is worth the price of admission.
Getting rid of the other Ankyliax as well.
Oh, he got Zerimi!
Oh, nice. Oh, and there's the TNT, which we just were talking about.
And it gets rid of Artanis, too. Oh, that's a nasty one.
That has definitely... That's quite the blow there to not Bamity on the field. Wow.
The other nasty thing about TNTs is they don't target the other TNTs, so you're guaranteed to hit cards that your opponent is going to want to use. So now he's forced. He can't use those Amonthol's ability now. Now he can just attack with them. Carefree Cookie is a really clutch play, though, because what that does, whenever a minion dies, it doesn't die. Instead, it just transforms into a minion costing 1 more. So he can basically trade into the Ankyliax here and just keep all his minions because they just evolve into 1 more.
Evolving, which is interesting card. Yeah, and then that's going to go through for the other taunt minion. Now, once again, facing a nasty board without a lot of stuff on the field. There is the Starship, but...
and the charge, too, yep. It's all going terribly, Ceaseless! I was about to say it was all going terribly, terribly wrong, but Ceaseless might be there with the clutch to save Boise State this turn.
That's a good feeling there when you're kind of down on your luck, facing a board like this, and now you have Ceaseless.
Mm-hmm. And it's now going to be discounted by those cards he drew, so he can play this 8-cost spell.
Mana back
Yep.
too.
Just draw as many cards as he pleases. And then your 0 mana Ceaseless down. That's a nice board. Sucks to be you.
Yep. All absorbed here. creating a very comfortable spot for Bamboozle. I mean, we'll have to see what comes out for the Priest. I mean, some of the scarier cards in the deck did get just completely removed, so now it's just about setting up here for Bamboozled. Oh, and there's going to be Raynor there, so...
Thing is, what did I say about one Ceaseless?
Yep. We'll just have to see.
It deserves another, but we're not going to get it.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but it doesn't seem like it's there. Oh, but
the cheese!
I totally forgot that was there.
And that is delicious cheese there. It summons 3 9s. King Plush as well, who has charge. Yeah, he's fun. I love him.
During like the last, like before a lot of these card packs were coming out, I was trying to work with Breakfast Hunter because I just loved how it worked. But it just never worked out. But King Plush, though, he was always a fun card. You know, making King Crush proud with his very soft exterior, still giving way to just a very painful charge if you weren't prepared. But, you know, every time we think this board is going to be gone for Carnegie Mellon, it just comes right back with a vengeance and more taunts than before. Getting 2 taunts off of the Gorgonzamu cheese is...
And one of those is the Obsidian statue, which destroys an enemy minion when it's popped. So that means Bamboozled, should he trade into that, it's going to destroy one of his minions, which means he doesn't have much more to try to deal with this. What's he got for ETC? Oh, he's got to he's going to copy the Ceaseless!
Oh my goodness! Wait, that's so good!
That is so good.
Oh, so anyway, if you thought the board was a problem...
You just use Ceaseless again. Ceaseless also, as you can see, non-surprisingly, is going to be one of the cards that's going to be adjusted with the next balance patch.
What? I would never guess.
There you go. 2 Ceaselesses to win your game. Oh, that's got to hurt. That's, yeah.
I mean...
And you know what? He didn't use Bob. So that's the reason. You don't use Bob. You just let Ceaseless do all the work, and there you go.
You know, you were talking about a Ceaseless matching a Ceaseless eventually. Well, although the opposing opponent, you know, Carnegie Mellon didn't have it, BSU made sure that we got the double Ceaseless in the matchup that time around. But now, Warrior is out of the way for the Broncos, which is a good spot, honestly, being able to win off of that there, getting it out, because you were talking about how some of those more aggressive, just fast-paced decks can really be rough there.
Yep. They've got Zerg DK and Zerg Warlock to go here, so they could pick either one of those, and we'll see how that works out for the Broncos. But it is the first win for Boise State tonight, so we got shut out in the first match, but we did manage to put one on the board. So things looking up a lot in Game 2.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what will be choosing for this next one here as well. Now that Carnegie Mellon was not able to get through, it looks like we are going to get a run back on the Priest deck and move into the Death Knight deck.
Okay, so we know the problem that we had with the first time we ran this, which was not drawing the Death Growl or the Yodeler.
Yep. So hopefully, you know, the Zergs are feeling a little nicer this time around and not bullying that deck, well, that card to the back of the deck or whatever ended up happening there. But it looks like it's not showing up yet, and we're going to stick with the hand we have so far.
Starting out, yeah, we'll put the Miracle Salesman.
Any problem?
Put the Miracle Salesman on board, and well, Wrangler again. That's a good first draw. He's been drawing all of them for his opening mulligans. Really good for Carnegie Mellon. He'll clear that as soon as he can, understandably, and we might just go back to start if he's got the other rope Wrangler. Oh, he still has. Okay. He's just going to buff up what he has. Yep. That's a lot of stats for just turn 3.
Yeah, though we do have a lot of options on the Broncos side card-wise. Just, I mean, as we talked about last time we saw this deck, name of the game is finding that one card, and so it's just hanging on in the meantime, and not the best board to be going up against on turn 3 for yourself. The spawning pool is out, so begin the process here.
There goes the Baneling, but draw lowest and highest cost dragon. Now that's a tuner card, which no doubt draws Zarimi, so now he's got that in his hand, so that can't be disrupted like last time.
Which is rather unfortunate.
And he hasn't drawn the Infestor or any of the stuff he needs.
If we get a rerun of how that went, that's rather unfortunate.
And these Banelings are a lot less threatening if they just do 1 damage to the enemy's board.
No, I learned very quickly when I was facing this deck that Banelings, you know, are aptly named because they become the bane of your existence if you don't do anything about them. They're a little too cute for how much damage they can do. Just little guys, you know, very deceptive in that way. You're like, oh, they can't be that bad, and then...
They're buffed up, and they're like 8/8s that just are guaranteed to clear your board.
Yeah, I hadn't done my research on this deck the first time I faced it, so I was like, huh, that's a really buffed up card. I read its, I read the description, and I was like, oh, I lose. I'm gone. And just like that, we see there is going to be some damage going through the Reborn, giving the Banelings a little extra room to work with here, too.
Yeah, but it's just that's not enough.
Yeah. It's not going to be the board clear that you need here. Especially with the card draw still, well, the card creation for the Dragons.
Yeah, he's got the Matron on, which will give him some much better dragons than just the Whelp Wrangler. The thing is, it's all the question of him playing another turn once he gets the Zarimi. He's going to just clear the Banelings out now, take the damage, doesn't want to deal with them. Realizes if he gets them out of the way now when they're just 1/1s, it's really good for him. And that's an effect as well. You get to swap the stats of 2 minions with Vol'jin. So that Whelp Wrangler is now a 5/3, and that Viper has just been taken down to a lonely 2/1.
Yeah, that's going to stick around for a little bit here. Well, I guess if you deal damage and then go down to 1, maybe not as much as you would have previously, but you're still getting your card draw, well, your card creation. Yep, and, you know, we aren't seeing that one card for Bamboozled at this point.
Sitting on the final use. Now the location's gone. That'll give all his Zerg rush.
Yep.
And the Hydralisk.
Yep, okay.
Yep, off the Brood Queen. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Clears the board. And it'll put a Miracle Salesman down for good measure as well.
Yep. Getting the tradable snake oil is...
Or he just trades the snake oil
Sure,
he
you could
already
just do
has.
that. Or
no.
just get the snake oil.
Just get more snake oil.
And a larva for your effort.
Snake oil. It's like packing up for the Lorgan Trail. It's like the lonely prospector who didn't pack enough and is like halfway and is stuck in the deserts of Utah. And then he's like, what do you have? Well, I got one snake oil and a larva in my left shoe.
Here you go. Oh, and, you know, checking in on the board as we've been looking. Another...
Oh, a lurker.
Oh,
With as many Zerg as he has, that's actually really good. Every time a Zerg attacks now, it'll deal 2 damage to a random enemy. So.
Oh, those types of cards are so scary. And
Oh, but they're not hitting. He needs them to hit the clear this board. There you go. Get rid of the Divine Shield.
We do like to see that there. All right.
There. Now he can use his hero power. Keep the Brood Queen. Gives him another Zerg.
Another larva for your trouble there.
It's not Bamity. Questionable if he's able to bring this back.
Yeah, does he have what he needs here? About to find out, I suppose. Yep, okay.
Oh, that's our big Protoss card. Artanis will summon 2 3/4s with charge and give him one of the best hero powers in the game.
I mean, being able to just give yourself Divine Shield is crazy.
Along with buffing your minion and yourself by 1 attack, which can be improved by some Druid cards, which I'm sure we'll see later, but just
yes,
getting
hero
so
power
many
Druid.
Divine Shields on the board can really...
It's not a good feeling when you're having to face all of that.
But he gets another Hydralisk, so he can just deal 2 damage again to everybody. Yeah, I mean, sure.
And then
Trade his snake oil, get more Banelings.
Oh, hey.
And he'll get another larva. It's just Banelings and larva the whole day. What more could you want?
You know, we were looking for that other card, but now we've just been getting a lot of our little one-cost friends here running around. Oh, there goes Gorgonzormu.
It's so late in the game,
I know,
though. He's going to have to wait so long.
Every time I see Gorgonzormu late game, I'm like, where were you, man? Like, what were you doing? Just hiding in the back of the cheese stockpile?
Oh, there's that Yodeler
there
we've been waiting for all this time. He just needs the Infestor now, and he's got it!
Wow, look at that.
He doesn't have enough mana to pull it off, though, so he's going to have to wait till next turn.
But it's there.
It's there.
At least we get to see the cards in the hand together this time around.
Count your victories.
Yeah, progress, right? You know, not as so far in the back of the hand as it was last time.
Oh, and the Death Growl,
Oh my
too! We get
goodness.
to see the full display here of how
bamboozled.
nasty this... Yeah, oh, this is... Oof.
Gorgonzormu picked the wrong time to go out, come out of the cheese stockpile. It looks like Bamboozled might be the one stealing that away from him. Yeah, just get a little card trade at the end there.
Another Yodeler, too.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, he's not going to have enough mana to use it, but...
It's
you know.
there, you know, and there goes out one Baneling, a sign of what's to come here.
This has to be the must-win turn. He's got to put as many dragons as he can on the board,
Okay,
takes the
there's
extra
some
turn, and try to find a way to come up with 25 damage. The question is, can he do it?
Yep.
Okay, he'll use the cheese.
See what he gets.
It's not the best cheese I've ever seen. So he'll take his extra turn now.
And I mean, the Divine Shield gives him a little bit of room. Not much right now. Not with what's currently in the hand, but it's something. Peace of mind, I suppose.
Give the twin blades to... See, I would have... Yeah, well, he realizes that he needs to just try to get the kill here, so he's just going to go face for it, everything. But it's just...
It's not going to be enough.
Doesn't
here,
look like
yeah.
it's enough.
Unless he has something in there for the 6 mana that he has. That's the question.
All right. Now we get to see
right.
the Zerg go burr.
You know, Bamboozled took a lot of rough matchups so that we could see all of these cards in hand at the same exact time.
Use that, then use the Death Growl, then the Yodeler, and you're good to go. It's a question of... Let me think about this one.
Infestor? Oh, maybe.
He's probably thinking of a way that he can use it in conjunction with the location, too, which is going to give all Zerg Rush.
Yeah. So you have that now, so doing a little bit of Divine Shield messing with, which makes sense.
I say resolve.
I can see wanting to deal with those Divine Shields. If
Oh, no!
Okay.
It gets even worse. Another Death Growl.
Yeah.
Which he can put onto some Rush minions now, or he's just going to use Kerrigan. I mean, he's not going to get too greedy with it. This will clear the board just fine.
We're getting teased a little bit here about what's going to happen, but we can see it. Oh my goodness! You know, if it wasn't enough, now you know. Would you? How about 3
Now
larva?
we're up to our knees in larva, just all around us.
The yodelers, infestors. Nah, larva.
Yeah.
Larva's where it's at right now.
Larva stonks up.
Hopefully you invested before this point. We are going to see the Chrono Boost go out. And the Divine Shield.
Yeah, I don't
charge,
see a way, but I mean,
there's not.
I mean, you get a copy, sure.
Okay.
I mean, maybe 2 copies, actually, that might do it.
Okay.
4, 4, 4. Nope, that's still
No,
not
yeah.
enough. He's short 2. Oh, he's short by just 2 damage. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah. I mean, you can see, you know that right there. Oh. Do we get to see it now?
Yeah, we get to see more examples of how heavy the Baleen, yeah, with the 4. That'll just clear out the entire board. He could use the Yodeler on the Baleen.
my goodness.
Yeah, he's just gonna use that. Yep, that clears that out.
Gone. Oh.
And then I mean, sure, he could put another Infestor or the Death Growl and just make that even more, or just use the Hydro. I mean, he's got so many options here. It's just any one of them just kind of leads to him winning. So just go Hero Power, then Baneling. Yeah, that'll do it. GG's, Boise State gets through Zerg DK. Now they just got to win with Zerg Warlock, and they'll have Game 2 all done and dusted.
Yeah, you know, we just had to hang on there for a couple of matches to get what we really wanted to see out of that deck. I mean, just Yodeler itself is such a satisfying card to get to play, because if you have that one Death Rattle you really like, and you're like, man, sucks that I only get to use this when they die, it's like, well, here you go. Here's your double up for that one.
I am a little nervous, though. The one remaining deck he has is that Zerg Warlock, the location deck, and if you don't have those early 2-mana taunts that you can slam down, you're really vulnerable during the early game, and he's got Zarimi Priest and Terran Shaman still raring to go.
Yeah, and we did see how problematic that could be in those previous matchups, so now with Boise State needing to hold on here, it is going to be that question. Like you said, can we get those early cards that we need? And, I mean, Bob showing up to say hi. Got a break from Bob last matchup.
Yeah,
Little breather
he can
for
go
you.
back in the deck for all I care. Just I don't want to see him anymore.
It's okay. Bob is gone.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 of the locations that 3 of the locations that he wants, really, but he's so vulnerable now.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
There's the gift wrap. Well, this is going to be ugly. This is going to be ugly here.
Really pushing
He's got
the
nothing.
priest
He's
as
got
well.
nothing to defend himself.
We just got to hold on. See, it really, I think, is going to come down to what not Bamity has in the hand right now, comparatively.
Well, we know he has one more. Okay,
That's
yeah.
the question for me right there.
Yeah,
that I
okay,
just
yeah,
set
that's
up.
good. He doesn't have anything low mana enough to play, so that's going to give us 1 turn to at least get the Cavern online.
You know, I feel really good about my question set up there. I'm like, it just depends, you know, if he doesn't have anything. Seeing the heal right there makes me, you know, feel a little bit better about that. Oh, but, okay. Well, that is going to be a more dangerous spot. Going from turn 2 to 3, very drastic change. Gorgonzamu right when you want him.
Oh,
but hello.
This is actually a pretty bad draw because he got 3 very key cards. That means, oh no, he just discovers a copy. What am I talking about?
Yeah,
Those 2
there's
still stay in the
Popcar.
deck. Sorry, I thought this was like a tracking scenario. My bad.
No, you're good. And I mean, hey, Popgar just gets to chill. I like Popgar's art. He's another one of those just kind of fun-looking guys, and he does a lot for you and a lot to your opponent if you can play him right.
The charges, that's also going to put so much pressure on him. And, oh, is he going to copy it too?
Oh, no.
Okay, the Orbital Halo. Oh.
Okay, I was wondering. You said copy, and I was like, oh, unless he can get it to 0. But
Yeah, this is, like I said, he doesn't have the taunts. He's got nothing.
okay, there's the 3 damage randomly split, but
I mean, he's going to use it with the Zergling, I suppose, but it's not hitting the orbitals.
is it hint? Yeah, you're not hitting the taunt, which is what you want. Yep, just gonna have to. Okay,
There we
we go. It's gone, but
I mean, it's still very...
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that right there, Bamboozled. The things that you wanted there, the random.
Oh,
chance
no,
did not
no, he
go.
copies. That's game. That's game.
Yep. Ooh, 15 damage right there. Yep. You know, we didn't see a ton of Protoss before, but, you know, now we get to see it. exactly why it can be so scary. Those hallucinations on the charge minion for 15, which is a good half of what you get, normally speaking. So with that, you know.
And this is the thing that makes me scared now, because now there's Terran Shaman. We need to win this. We need to find those taunts, because we know Terran Shaman loves to flood the board with all those little starship pieces.
Yeah, and that just...
it was looking so good, but our options are rapidly closing.
Hearthstone was like, you get that one really nice game with all your cards at the end, and now you're going to go back to the will we get the good cards, the cards that you need for the setup. So we didn't get the taunts this time. The question is, are we going to get them right now when we need them?
Let's find out. I mean, we can
jump into
only
it,
hope for the best here.
Yeah.
This is the one that decides it all, round 5 in the best of 5. So... my pen almost also broke, too. Perfect visual metaphor for our chances of winning right now. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Well,
I don't see any taunts there. I'm nervous. Well, he's got the Nidus Worm. That isn't too bad. He can draw and maybe try to find them.
And I mean, getting some card cost less.
Spawning pool's also good, too. Those Zerglings can hold those starship pieces at bay, so...
At bay being the key word here, though.
Yeah, they'll still come back later.
Okay, what is it? Oh, okay. Double spawning pool. Okay, well.
Witness my magnificence and despair.
Now we just have to see what we're going to be getting from not Bamity here.
Starts out with the SCV. That'll make his starship launches 2 mana cheaper, his next one at least.
Yep.
And we're going to go back to spawning some Zerglings. It's really a 1/3 minion to start things out is kind of perfect for dealing with these Zerglings. And yeah, he's going to go with the Trusty Companion to buff it up even more. He'll draw a mech too, and...
I mean, turn 2, a 3/6 on the board, just, ugh. That's gross to be up against there.
If only there was something that could block it, like, say, a taunt minion.
That's a crazy concept.
Oh, I would have... I don't know if I would have done that. I might have... I would have gone for the Nidus Worm, because, like, he needs to find that taunt.
I guess we'll have to see what the plan here is. I wonder if maybe... Okay, yep.
That makes things even worse. Turbulus buffs all your battle cry. Yay!
Yay! High spine crawler. Yep. Okay, yep. And there are locations, so the little attack room. Good to go with that. Use the spawning pool to gain.
Yeah, now those Zerglings will have Rush. So he can at least take out the 3/3 and force the 4/7 to attack into the taunt.
Yep, which will not be an instant knockout for either card. So it just depends on what they're going to use.
Yep, lock on.
Yeah, which will be able to knock it out. But
it does prevent it from going face. I mean, don't.
And there's Gorgonzamu.
He could use the coin here with Horizon's Edge, and he can get 3 Zerglings on the board with Rush. And Horizon's Edge as a location recharges every...
Oh.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm just here on the desk. If he wants to do what he wants to do, I'm not going to... But I would have tried to deal with that board with the Horizon's Edge.
We'll just have to see where this goes. Dealing... Okay. I mean, the death rattle on that location is nice to get up as fast as you can, but I guess the question just is going to be if you can get there. Though, with the consume on the board as well, you know, he has the health up again.
Yeah.
So a little bit more wiggle room. I think this just also comes down to what Not Bamity has, and, you know, another SCV making that Starship launch extra cheap.
And the Bouncer.
Yeah.
An old classic from Festival of Legends makes this a very, this
has changed the board quite a bit there.
Yeah, I mean, you can use Domino Effect to help clear this, but it's not a perfect clear.
Bouncer is gone. Well, one of them will be gone there, and Consume is going to go out, bringing some extra health.
Yeah, just
and
use
the Death
2.
Rattle is going to go through as well, so now that board is cleared. With that, another little Zergling friend with bringing his buddy around.
Oh, but the lightning strike, the lightning storm too off of the gift.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, that'll clear that board. Okay, here we go again.
And there's the starport. So
What's he gonna get? Oh, okay.
here's Viking. Hello,
Oh, the
Logan.
Jailer. I would just go with Jailer
Yeah,
here.
I
Get a
mean,
big
or-
minion on the
oh.
board. Why?
You know, I think
Why no big minion?
why no big minion? But I mean, okay, Spine Crawler, another taunt. Taunt would probably be nice. I mean, I don't know. Guess we'll find out.
I wanted big minion. I wanted him to draw Sarg or Ceaseless and get a 15-15 on board. I mean, that forces his opponent to have that lock-on, the other lock-on in hand, and he's only got 2 cards. I would have taken that risk.
And that Starship is 0 right now, so it's just extra deadly when it starts to get built here.
And the cheese.
Oh, and there's the cheese. Let's see. Oh, and a taunt minion down.
Oh, he's got to get Sonya off the board. That is...
That...
Even though he's not playing Rogue, what Sonya does, if you play a 1-cost card, you get a copy that costs 0. Rogue does a lot of OTKs with that card, and still, I mean, like, if he has a lock-on, he'll get 2 lock-ons off of Sonya.
That, which is a very scary prospect when you've already used one of them. You don't want to give your opponent any more of them. But unfortunately, it's behind a taunt right now, so you gotta get through it. If you don't get through that taunt,
Use the Horizon's Edge, yeah. Okay, we gotta hope. Okay, it's down to 1.
Yep.
This is good. Get another shot here. Oh, no, come on, come on. No, come on, come on.
One more time, one more time.
Just come on. 1, yes.
Okay.
No.
No.
No! Oh, what rotten luck. Just...
Taunt minion is gone, though, so we just have to see. Okay, the one, I mean...
Ready to plunder.
But the Starship pieces, they're coming together.
Oh, yeah, that one does 5 damage when it's launched.
At least we're at 30
Okay, he
health.
doesn't have any 1-cost cards to use
Okay.
with Sonya, so that's good at least.
Okay.
Ready to plunder.
And just, you know... This is going to be a
Oh,
hefty...
he's going to get the copy of the lock. He's just going to... Oh.
Okay. Oh, all right, well,
I don't know why he used that lock on there.
I'm not sure either.
I mean, okay, whatever. You could use Kerrigan or Symphony. Either one of them powerful cards. Oh, now we go big minion. Okay.
You get your big minion now. Oh, hello.
Hi, Sarg.
Sarg and Ceaseless just hanging out.
I mean, next turn is 9 mana, so I would pick Sarg because he can use that
I mean,
next turn.
the options that he gives. Oh, I think that you might just need to
I am disagreeing
stop.
with him on like every single play. So, you know what? If he loses this, I can feel really good about myself at least.
And if he wins, I guess, you know, this is why we're sitting on the desk.
I mean, already he's down at 16 health.
It's a scary spot. And also 21 armor on your opponent from the Starship launch.
Oh, he's going to launch the Starship again.
Oh, yeah, okay, you know, if you weren't, you know,
Oh, and 5 to the face
you
is
know,
why he's down
just
to
in
9.
case he didn't have enough armor there.
The Missile Pod 2, that's another damage to face.
Oh, well. Well, okay.
You know, if he had Sarg right now, he could just suck everything into the Twisting Nether. That would have been an option.
That's true. You're not wrong on that one. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, the hero power will still probably clear everything.
Yeah. Or the random hits will do that.
There you go.
The issue
Now
is that
15
you're
to
looking
face.
at 27-20, a total of like 47 health right there.
He is very vulnerable, actually, to the cannons. The ones that deal 10 damage, excess hits the enemy hero. He's
That's
very
true.
vulnerable to them, actually. There's still a way that Carnegie Mellon can win this.
Engine screaming.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a lot of armor to chew through for Bamboozled right now, like, regardless. I mean, they have some good damage on the board.
Oh, here we go.
Do that. Yep, exactly, right there.
And it's going to hit a low one. That's risky now.
We'll have to see. 2 more cards in hand with 5 mana. Okay.
Okay, that'll gigantify, which means he can play an 2 8/8s next turn.
Yikes. And get a taunt on the board, deal a little damage to the other taunt. So,
Yeah, and this is the problem that you say. You know, he's just got so. I mean, he can clear the board, sure, but he's got so much armor to chew through that he doesn't really have anything in his hand to heal or give him armor. He can play the other Kerrigan, which will give him another 5 armor, but that sets him back to 13 health. I mean, I think he has to do it.
Yeah, I think you have to create that buffer space for yourself. And I mean, Ceaseless is not the play just yet because, you know, the board clear could be nice from Ceaseless, except for the fact that, you know, as you mentioned, those 8/8s are coming out. And you don't want those to just be sitting on the board after a Ceaseless play. So just trying to get all that damage on with the different enemies here. I mean, that's really, you just got to hold on and see where Carnegie Mellon is going to be.
Oh, and this Starship, too. I believe it does have at least one Banshee in there, and that's that one that deals 5 to random. If that goes face, we're in trouble again.
That is a dangerous position. We'll have to see. Okay, try to get rid of as much as possible here.
I mean, that 15-15
that is going to bring us back, so this doesn't look as scary as it did, but, you know, we can only predict so much as we don't see the other hand here.
Oh, and what if he has his own Ceaseless is the problem?
Right, board clear, gone.
Ceaseless, Starship.
That's the question, you know, is it Ceaseless? But, okay, Grifta.
Uh-oh, Grifta, he's dangerous, too. He's going to take control of an enemy minion. Oh, and attack with it. Oh, what a top deck.
Tank, hello, welcome back. Oh, just...
The top deck on Grifta to win it. Wow.
So about, you know, Bob stealing minions, there's that one right there too.
Yeah, but the thing is, Grifta gives you random.
It's true.
So it's
true.
Bob, you have that option every single time. Grifta isn't as bad, but still. Okay, so I'm right, but I disagreed with every play there. But all right, that's 0 for 2 for Boise State. So this from, I think, our own mental sanity and our morale. I think we need to take a little bit of a break and hope that we can thunder on back a little later.
I would agree. We do have 3 more matches to go, so, you know, we're not out of the woods yet for Boise State. 2 down, 3 to go. We'll have to see where this continues, but for now, we're going to take a quick break and check back in a little bit.
Idaho's Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Home is where you hang your hat, snuggle up, hide out. Home is when you're with the ones you love. It isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. At Idaho's Central Credit Union, our home is Idaho. We grew up here, and we're proud to help more Idahoans with their home loan than any other financial institution. Idaho's Central Credit Union. We believe home is where you make it.
At Blue Ribbon Painting, we're proud to be a locally family-owned and operated business dedicated to bringing your vision to life. Whether it's freshening up your home with interior or exterior painting or tackling a commercial project, we've got you covered. When you choose Blue Ribbon Painting, you're not just hiring painters. You're getting a team that's committed to making your vision a reality. Call or text us at 208-369-2583 or visit us at blueribbonpainting.net. Your project deserves a blue ribbon finish.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. Is finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great? Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
And welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena as we continue our coverage of the PlayFly Collegiate Hearthstone 5-round robin for the Broncos. So far, we've been able to watch 2 matchups for Boise State. Unfortunately, not being able to really take any of them so far, but with 3 matches to go, the Broncos have a chance to come back from this with a positive win-loss ratio here. Calling all the action, my name is Audrey Norris, joined by Jacob Palmer to see how this current set of matchups continues here.
You know, the one thing that's really standing out to me is our esports program head, Doc Haskell, played a bit of, plays it very casually, but his biggest nostalgia moment in Hearthstone was back when Witch would release, and he still talks to this day about wanting to play Odd Paladin again, when it was considered so good that you could spend 2 mana to summon 2 1/1s every turn. Oh, how the game has changed since then.
It's incredible to think that something that used to be good is 2 mana 1/1s. I mean, now, like, you know, something I casually play as a hunter, and I'm like, it's not that good, is a 1 cost to create 2 1/1s. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know, that's just sometimes my throwaway of like, okay, I don't have anything else to do. So really, when we're looking at some of the stuff that we've already seen with, you know, Mr. 100 cost mana ceaseless slowly going down to 0 to board wipe.
I will say the one thing Doc said regarding Hearthstone, like in the past year or so, is I was playing a game casually. This isn't even the current meta that we're seeing. This was like a year or 2 ago, but he passes by, he watches it for like a little 30 seconds to a minute. He just watches it for a little while, and he goes, I have not played this game in a while.
I think that's a good way to describe how the scope creep feels sometimes. Yep. You know, when I play for stints, and then I'll take a break, and then I come back, and I'm like, wow, this is somehow scarier when it comes to the power creep than how I left it. I'm like, I didn't know how it could get more intense sometimes, but, you know, I'm watching ceaseless. You know, when I didn't look at the meta at first when I opened up Hearthstone. I just was like, okay, I'm going to get in. I'm going to look at it. I saw it was like, here's this 100 mana card. I'm like, what happened here? I'm like, what? I was like, I shouldn't have left. This is so strange. But, you know, that's where we are. And, you know, how many times have we seen that card played?
It's not as bad to the thing of other card games, like, say, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the poster child of a card game that's just gotten so insane over the years. But there are some similarities in, like, you can take a classic Hearthstone player, and you can take a classic Yu-Gi-Oh player, and you show them a modern card of the game, and they take one look at it and they go, "That's a lot of text." It's just that's.
The amount of keywords on cards sometimes where I'm like, why do you have so many? If anything, that's probably one of the more interesting ways that the game has evolved over time is just the keywords, the amount on the card, and the complicated elements of said keywords. Like, there was quite a few, when they first came out, it's like, it's fairly obvious. Stealth makes sense. Other things like that. But now you've got things like Starship over and over and over again. But while we're getting ready to jump into this game, we'd like to thank our local dairy farm families as proud fueling partners of our BSU esports athletes. Dairy foods provide the protein to rebuild, hydration to recover, and natural electrolytes to replenish post-activity. Fuel your greatness with dairy.
That's right. Dairy West has equipped Boise State with things in the fueling station, including chocolate milk, cheeses, all sorts of dairy snacks. It's
more dairy
really great
than you ever would really expect to see, but
all
it's
right.
a great boon. As we jump into this matchup here, we do get to see a little bit of a mix-up with Druid jumping in here.
So we got Boise State. I mean, they're obviously going to run the same lineup every single time. So what is Commonwealth of Bloomsburg bringing? Well, they're bringing Hero Power Druid, Terran Shaman, and Mage as well, which Mage is not a meta player right now. I mean, there's some Protoss Mage, but that's very kind of fringe. It's tier 3 at best. We'll have to see how this works out.
Yeah.
But
though, for all of these decks, I will say Hero Power Druid is the one I'm the most familiar with right now. It's all centered around that Groovy Cat that just got played, where as it comes in and gets defeated, it gives you attack each time. So for each of those cards, you get a total plus 40 your Hero Power, which is just so insane. You go from 1 to 5, and you get an additional armor. Of course, you're also typically looking for Artanis as well, so then you go to just an insane amount. And getting Groovy Cats, both of them right off the bat, is such a scary spot here for Bamboozled.
Yep, the buff carries over to the Artanis Hero Power, which means it's a 2. And again, we were just talking about it was considered so good for your 2-mana Hero Power to summon 2 1/1s. Now it's, when you get the Artanis Hero Power on board, 2 mana, give yourself and a minion plus 5 attack, and both of you Divine Shield.
Right. And not only that, but there's cards in that deck that gain, will reduce cost based off of your hero power. So eventually, you just start getting 0 cost cards with this deck. And with that Protoss Zealot that we've seen be really just devastating to deal with, it's just a nasty combo of a deck. I built it recently to mess around with it, and it's a fun one. It's just so intimidating when you suddenly see someone get not only their hero power go off twice, they can refresh it for maybe a 3rd time. It's a terrifying looking deck, but for Bamboozled here, we have begun the Starship creation with the cost being lowered, and we do have those siege tanks on the field, so that is a lot of damage that can be dealt to face just based off of that eventually.
By the way, I just wanted to give an update again, since we're talking about how much the game has grown. How many cards have been made for Hearthstone now? What's the grand total now?
Oh, I don't even know I have no clue, to be completely honest here.
As we enter into the 11th year of Hearthstone, 5,600 cards have been made completely.
That's honestly just impressive. And, I mean, jumping back into the game, I was talking about Artanis earlier. Here he is. That 1 armor, which, when you have 5 attack, suddenly getting that 1 armor doesn't really seem like a lot for Druid. And so you just swap it out for Divine Shield instead, and it becomes a pretty scary prospect. But that shield tank is going to make short work of that.
And I can see why he even though it wasn't a big starship, he decided to launch it, because it gets those siege tanks online. He can push a bunch of damage against RBR here, force him on the defense, and this Artanis, his hero power is great, but you really need minions on the board to be able to use it fully.
Okay, there's the armor, though. Frost Lotus Blossom giving you, as long as you wait 3 turns, you get a really good buff from it. So risk reward with it, but it can work out, and some card draw as well. So we'll just have to see, if that ends up
Even
him any
unbuffed, it's
good.
pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
if you divide both of its effects, draw a card for 1 mana, and then the other mana for 2, you gain 5 armor. And there have been cards in the past. There's been a 1 mana gain 5 armor, and 1 mana to draw 1 card. Even if it's unbuffed, it's not the worst
Yeah.
card to play.
Yeah, it can definitely work in a pinch, but if you can get that 10 armor, that is just such a good safety net to have.
It's basically a shield block if it is unbuffed, and shield block is already in a lot of warrior decks, so it's a shield block
and
that
then
can
there's
get
the
even better.
cactus. Running out of time here. Got to choose a card to discover.
Thing is, if he puts any sort of minion down, he's kind of toast, because even if he places the Divine Shield on it, remember,
copy, yeah.
excess hits the enemy hero.
Yep. Okay, and just going to get rid of the first siege, but
Yeah, that'll mean 10 actually goes to the enemy hero in damage off of this tank.
which is a rather unfortunate. I mean, it's not a lot, you know. It is a 1/1 minion, so but the divine. Okay.
Oh.
Wait.
Well,
Interesting.
okay, whatever. It's 1 less damage to the hero, but in this situation, it's still a lot of pressure he's putting on.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room here for RBR. It just depends on what they have in the deck. With Bamboozled having, I mean, a pretty comfortable hand here. He's got the backstage bouncer if things get rough. And is that Gilgamesh? Yeah, that's Gilgamesh.
Oh, yeah. That can deal that can deal 3 to all enemy minions, so that's another 3 damage in his hand. But I mean, I think it's really going to be Horn of the Wind Lord closes out for him. That's Wind Fury with 3 attack. So he plays that, he can do 6 attack plus the 5, that's 11. He's got 2 other minions on the board for 15. He's just 1 off.
Yep.
At this point, it feels like a delaying of the inevitable. There's just so much pressure he's putting on. But if he manages to, well, you know, you can play Bob, and that'll change things up in a hurry. He can at least freeze the shop, just try to survive a little longer. Yeah, he could do Lock-On and Gilgamesh there.
Yeah.
Deal 3 to all. That clears the board.
Board. I mean, yeah, put it in a comfortable spot. Bob isn't going to really do much for Bloomsburg if that ends up being the choice. I mean, and reduce the starship cost too for the future.
I mean, yeah, this works too.
Yep.
Instead of just doing Gilgamesh, you can just use the
Missile
starship
pod, yep.
itself. Sitting on the coin too to give him an extra
Trusty,
mana.
yeah.
The trusty, yeah, just build as big as board as he can. Yeah, and I don't. There's nothing really in Hero Power Druid that's really that good in terms of board clear. The
I mean,
closest
there's
that you have is Swipe, yeah,
But not for this. I mean, for this late in the game, Swipe isn't going to be knocking out a lot of the minions here.
and it doesn't put anything
Though
on his board either.
Astral Piercer getting the dormant there. So I guess it's just a question of, is there something that he has to back him up that the taunt being there was necessary to remove? Or if that's just more of a hopeful tactic here.
Looking like he's gonna.
Oh, the
yep, the
mind
mind
control,
control.
yep.
I cannot believe why Blizzard put that back in standard rotation. That should have stayed in wild. Another
Okay,
one.
integrate.
He's.
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
that's
geez,
pretty
okay.
good.
That is a lot more comfortable position for RBR here.
Or Jim Raynor.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, that'll just summon these starships again, deal 2 damage to everything. So that could be a. That could be an option, but I mean, yeah.
Bamboozled has options. That's the thing. Like, it's not, at least right now, there's just quite a few. Oh, yeah, Gulganeth, not Gilgamesh. I was like, what am I going crazy here? But, yeah, Gulganeth has some.
It heals as well as
Yeah.
dealing damage, too. So it gets him a little bit better of a safety net. He doesn't have to worry as much here.
Yeah, and you can just knock through some of that. And then, yeah, the.
Oh, okay, yeah, play that. That gives the Cactus Cutter taunt, and then I would honestly just, okay, he'll get rid of that, play it extra safe.
Yep, just... Yeah, 9-9 here for Hero Power Druid. You know, he has the setup potential here. The issue definitely is going to be that taunt if he wants to get anything out of that. But, you know, looking at this. Okay, there's the sing-along buddy.
Yep, that'll make the hero power proc twice, so it gives his hero 10 attack.
Yep. Oh,
And
so
the charge
nasty.
13. But is it enough? That's the thing.
It's the question of if this 3 mana gives him that room to work with.
I don't think he can pull that
I
much
don't know.
damage
We'll have
out
to
of 3
see.
mana.
Okay.
That ain't it, Chief.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to give...
And he's not even going to attack face with it, too, so...
Just try to go for some... I don't even know. I mean, it does get rid of, ultimately, a Titan and 2 of the minions, but there's so much in the back. I don't think this is going to go where he wants it to. I think he knows that.
Yeah, I think he has to pressure, but...
He has to put the pressure on, but it doesn't... I mean, the unfortunate thing is Sing-Along Buddy disappearing here. I mean, because you don't want to leave that on the board, so just get rid of it. Oh, and there's Bob, you know, too, if you want to, like...
Yeah,
really
but we don't even need Bob
That's true,
here.
there's
He's got enough damage from hand, and then the Horn of the Windlord, Wind Fury, and that'll do it.
Yep.
Boise State has Terran Shaman off the board. It's off to a good thing, but as we learned from Game 2, things can look promising and turn around in quite a hurry.
Yeah, and so you never know there. So, good question, I think, will just be how the opponent chooses to respond. You know, we've got one deck out of the way. Hero Power did not perform very well there, so throw it out, go for something else, or just try to get it through. That's the one thing I find really interesting about these, like, conquest modes for Hearthstone is you having to get through every single deck as a win just adds a very interesting element.
Yep. But it means there's a lot of decks to get through, a lot of matches to play, so let's not waste too much time and get to game number 2 in round 3. Boise State currently up 1, now looking to pick up another. I mean, it would be fabulous for Boise State in this round robin to get the win here. You know, it makes your record 1-2. Maybe you could finish with a 3-2 to end the night out. Have maybe a good chance of making it to the playoffs. You never know.
Yeah, we'll have to see there as we jump into it.
Boise State bamboozled with the win on the Shaman. Now has to choose the DK or the Warrior. Whereas we still, man, this Mage, Protoss Mage, or if he wanted to be aggressive with it, he could do Elemental Mage. That was pretty good before the mini set came in.
It's still, it can still do some stuff. I mean, the Elemental stuff is still pretty... It's not, like, as crazy as some of these decks, but it does have some value. I've been hanging on to my Elemental Shaman, and that's still been pretty effective right now. But we do see Ziliax, once again, you know, swapping over to the Warrior deck, and it is going to be up against Hero Power.
I read you. Do you read me?
He's also got Garrosh's Gift, which that can give him a
Nature speaks.
shield block, so he can draw a little bit too. So even though he's got all these high mana cards right now, he does have a little bit of draw to help him. Power again, that's going to draw the Groovy Cat, so he'll be able to play that on turn 2.
And
There you go.
Groovy Cat out, begin that. RBR, I think, suffered just from card draw.
Oh, that's a good draw there. That'll give him some ramp.
We love to see ramp on Warrior. It's a... Against Druid of all decks, too, when you get to ramp up, you know, a little reminder of one of Druid's classic setups.
Spread the word, discounted due to the hero power. Brings him up to a good number of cards. But the thing is that this Warrior deck it has a good amount of board clears, a lot of defensive taunts that can just block those Zealots that are going to be summoned indefinitely. So I think this Hero Power Druid, as the game goes on, especially since Bamboozled is already ramped here, is just going to keep running into roadblock after roadblock. That's going to prevent that buffed up Hero Power from doing what it needs to.
Whatever it takes.
Well, sir, two medevacs. That's. Well, he'll have quite the board to work with, but.
Oh, yeah.
Thing is, that's going to clog up the board when it's launched. So.
Okay, the Chrono Boost is going to go out. 3-4 Zealots with charge.
And if he got the right Protoss cards, he could just run it back. Nah, he's just going to make his next hero power cost 0. Probably because he's probably... What he has probably done is he's probably drawn Artanis right now. So since the 2-3 made his hero power 0, he'll just be able to use that instantly with one of the charges he gets, which is pretty good. Are you going to spend 5 mana to launch a fight? This one miking? Okay, looks like... Okay, we had a little bit of a hiccup there, but nothing too bad. Now he's going to launch here. This makes a little bit more sense. Gets a whole bunch of armor, and will flood the board with taunts.
Which is a good thing to have when hero power looks like it's getting ready to do some massive damage. Good to see. 4 taunts on the board. Not, unless you have the swipe here, which it looks like they do.
Still not enough. Still leaves 8 damage on the board.
Okay.
But Astral Face, okay, that's not the worst way to clear it. Okay, it only leaves 1/2/1.
Yep, okay, so only 1 left there. So, I mean, out of all the potential, and okay, ETC Band Manager. Oh, and the low concussive shells.
He just keeps getting these medevacs here. Oh, that's 3 medevacs off the random generation. That's rough. But he does have board control.
And a good chunk of armor to hold on with, too.
And we've gotten to that point of the game where Unkiliax will be on the board. You'll get to discover a 2-mana minion, summon a copy of it. Oh, he's going to he's going to discover the one that is connected to the next expansion. It discovers a 2-cost minion with a dark gift, and that's a random buff that could go onto it. And there's a lot of pretty good dark gifts, but it's still a 2-mana minion. Even with the dark gift, it's probably not enough to turn the overall course of this match.
Ham.
So, only thing about Ham is that he costs a lot of mana, so he wouldn't be able to do too much after that. But he still could, clear this.
I mean, if he wanted to, yeah.
Concussive Shells, only 1 mana, so that'd be the one thing he could use with Ham, but... Well, he'll get rid of the biggest Zealot, and could launch this for only 1. Does summon a good amount of taunts, at least. And then he could play Ham, too, and that's his board again.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the move.
There it is. Okay.
All right, we did see Ham pluck out that Zarimi, so maybe there's a key minion, although I can't really think of a key minion in Hero Power Druid that would really be... I mean, take what we can get.
With the way that Hero Power is already set up, if it had been, say they hadn't gotten the second Groovy Cat, that would have been pretty brutal, but...
There we go. We'll get a chance to discover a minion with a dark gift, and they can be good, but I just don't know if they'll be good enough is the real question.
Yeah, Bamboozled. I mean, comfortable position right now for Bamboozled. RBR definitely in a struggle spot with this deck. Raid Leader giving some extra attack.
He's got 3 health and taunt. That's not going to do anything.
Well, he has 7 health, so...
But there's Unkiliax.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So the Starship still stays on the board. Oh, or he could do it. He could also do... use that one, too. He's got the... What I would do is Garrosh's Gift... Garrosh's Gift.
There we go.
Oh, okay. It gives you an execute, so you could have played the battle guy and done the 2 damage spell burst, and then. But that also would have gotten rid of his Starship, so I can see why. But that would have been another way to complete the
Unkiliax is out, so
Yeah, I mean this is the win condition.
Oh, no!
No! Not Bob!
Yeah.
it gets stolen. Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
We get 3 coins, though.
yeah, there you go. Oh.
All right. Yeah, Yamato Cannon just zap Bob out of existence, please.
Okay. Oh.
Yep, and then he
Spellburst,
gets
yeah.
the spell burst here.
You know, one time where those 3 coins are kind of funny there is having a minion that will activate off of that.
Yeah, it is. You know, that's a lemonade out of lemons thing.
You got to take what you can get.
But
when
now
Bob
he has
activates.
9 mana, and guess what he can play? Oh, he's not going to play
Front Lotus
Achilles,
Blossom,
you know?
actually.
Okay, whatever.
Didn't want to fall into your good setup there for Ziliax Part 2. Hello.
Hi there. How you doing?
Just hanging on, you know. I was just waiting for Ziliax to show up.
Yeah, I was too. I don't.
That's kind of where I was at. I'm like, big mech,
Mm-hmm.
the unkillable nightmare. Poison on a taunt with so much damage is such a scary thing. But checking back in, it looks like Leroy Jenkins actually is going to make an appearance here with the charge and divine shield. It's definitely a good combo there for damage. But I mean, just Bamboozoled's current board and hand, you know, going to clear everything there.
He's got Garosha's gift. Probably use it for the shield block. Get that extra health.
Oh,
Another
hello,
shield
look at
block on
that.
top of that. And the
hello,
other hydration station too. So I mean, he's got everything
Oh my
set up.
goodness! Yeah, there we are. Oh.
He's
Hey,
he's
you
searching
know-
for the bomb boss.
Yep. And hey, you know, if you didn't, you know, RBR, you know, manages to get through all that armor and look where it brought us to more armor.
Yep, that's the deal. This is a. He concurs.
Yeah, he concurs with the assessment here. Yeah, we haven't really been able to see Hero Power's kind of bread and butter.
Okay, that'll attack an enemy minion once he plays it. So, whatever. He could play the taunt, the Arcanite Crystal, and you know, set up his next starship. That's always an option. But still, with 9 mana, I mean, the whole thing about Hero Power Druid is you just want to get a kill shortly after you've brought the Artanis Hero Power online.
But it's not. They
Yeah.
haven't been able to find it yet, though. He has the Ziliax on his side.
Oh,
actually,
he's actually-
Oh, no, he doesn't. Actually,
Oh no!
the timing on that
Oh,
is
the karma!
insane.
The karma!
Oh,
I'll take that back with extreme
here's
prejudice.
some
Thank you
coins.
very much.
I think that might be my favorite Bob play. The Ziliax is just. He's just being traded back and forth. It's like, no, I want him.
He's like
no,
the first,
I want
he's
him.
like the first-round draft pick in the NFL. He's like, he doesn't stay with a team for more than one season. He's just
My goodness, that is.
and a burn and innervate, whatever.
That, yeah, I mean, at this point. Wow, that is. That must be the most, I feel like, satisfying Bob you could get is like, I get to bring my card back to his rightful place.
I mean, well, okay, he gets to give the Spider Divine Shield, which,
I mean, for a poison,
yeah, that's not bad.
that's.
But,
It
I
makes
mean,
it a solid spot to
But
be.
remember, Ziliax comes online with the Divine Shield of his
Yep,
own, so they
exactly.
just cancel each other out.
Yeah. And then they just do that with the Reborn, so
Yep.
Ziliax comes back once again.
And Yep, I appreciate that.
RBR realizes, yeah, there's not a lot of room to work with there.
It would have just been a long, dragged out thing. I mean, because he's also got the 2 hydration stations.
Yep.
I know the general rule from competitive is that you never concede because anything can happen, but it was over.
Yeah.
The Bomb Boss would have come online anyway. He wouldn't have had any deck left to play with.
Yeah. And, if you're going to just sit there and be stuck in just, like, the trenches when you know ultimately where it's going to go, it could be better to just kind of, not tax both you and your, opponent mentally for that. So with that, though, we're going to be going into the potential final round if the Broncos can lock this down.
Yep. I would, this would be their first win. And seeing as how it looks like we might be a little short on time, we might only be able to do 4 matches tonight. But it would be pretty fitting because mathematically, if you look at it, the Broncos, if they win this one, they're at 1-2. And I would say you can probably lose 2, but still be in the running for a playoff. That's generally how PlayFly usually works out. 2 is the most you can take. It's a 3 strikes, you're out kind of thing.
Which makes sense, yeah.
This is kind of a thing of Boise State wins this, but they don't win Game 4, then they're kind of eliminated, and then we can call it a night.
We know generally where we're going to be here. So now it is up to the Death Knight to bring it home for Bamboozled here. And, RBR has to decide if they're just going to press W and go straight with the Hero Power Druid, or if they're going to mix it up a little bit with either Mage or
I mean, I do want to see what the Mage is.
So. I am curious, but we are holding strong. Holding W, Yeah, holding W with the hero power. I do wonder if that's really going to be the play. Oh, and we do get to see Reska.
Such a cool signature, I will say. That's a really cool signature.
Reska? Yeah, I think it's another fun card. Doesn't look as scary with the 25 mana compared to, good old Mr. 100 mana now.
Yeah, but just has
Ceaseless.
Ceaseless.
It's such a interesting card.
With every minion that dies, its cost gets decreased by 1, so it's just like Ceaseless. It'll be 0 mana.
It will be 0. And so, here we go. Roll it back with the Hero Power Druid one more time. As we, jump in here. Harbinger of Winter going out. Another fun card. I do like Harbinger of Winter.
Draws a Frost spell, and that's always good for Boise State. Draws a Frost Strike, or the Horn of Winter, I believe, to be able to refresh 2 mana crystals, which is always good. There's the Death Growl. But now we just need the Infestor. We need one or the other. We need one and the other. We need both.
One and the other. We need both, but, we just need to hope that Investor isn't taking a nap in the back of the deck again and see where this goes.
I just have to say Bamboozled is showing off the bling because every deck he's been played is all golden in signature, and he's got all these heroes. He is showing off as much cosmetic bling as he possibly can for these matches.
Someone has most certainly played the game a lot.
And he's also got the Dalaran Flame card back, which that was only available if you competed in Tespa or you bought it.
Nature speaks through my tunes.
And there goes the Peaceful Piper, drawing a beast.
Groovy Cat, most likely.
I assume this is going to be Groovy Cat. Oh, no, it's Astral Freezer. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, get some stuff off the board. But I feel like the sooner you can get Groovy Cat up, the better, unless you're looking for something else with that. And we do see, 2 Frost Strikes and a Horn of Winter.
One of the cards still around from last time we did this when Death Knight came online and we had triple Frost runes. I kind of miss the triple rune decks. I mean, I understand Blizzard wanted to get more rainbow decks in there, and yeah, a lot of the rainbow decks are fun to play, but I would still like one, triple rune deck to hang in there.
I mean, I remember with the blue, the blue rune deck, you had the massive, I miss seeing all of the big, why am I forgetting the name of the cards?
Frostworm's Fury. That was the 7 mana that dealt 5 damage and froze everything.
That one is pretty insane, yeah. I was thinking of, the cards that have extensions to them. I'm forgetting what they're called.
Oh, the Colossals! Yes, I miss them so much.
I love Colossals.
Colossals.
They're just so fun. The Colossal for the Frost is really interesting.
I'm going to throw something out there. Blizzard has teased the next 3 expansions, and we know the next one coming up right now, Into the Emerald Dream.
Yep.
But then the next one, it's a return to Ungoro.
Oh.
And you know Ungoro has a lot of big dinosaurs, a lot of big boys. And what would be a better expansion than a return to Ungoro to bring back Colossals?
That
I'm just
would be
saying.
cool. I just really like Colossals. They're just such a fun thing. I had the Hunter deck that allowed you to like fish and discover them, and they were. It's just there's so many cool ones, and I just like the mechanics behind that particular keyword.
It was also such a breath of fresh air at the time because at the time we were coming off of the year that United and Stormwind had been released, which was one of the major metas where the board didn't matter because everyone was just trying to complete their quest lines so much. And the Colossals, you know, just came in, and it's like made the board matter again, you know, big, giant things you could play that instantly gave you a board presence. You could slam into a bunch of things. And all of them, I think with the exception of the Druid one, all of them saw meta play. I mean, there was a lot of fun to be had with them. I miss them so much.
Yeah, they were fun cards, and you know I liked I loved all the little ways they tried to figure out how to add the colossal pieces, like the Hydra having more heads.
Yep.
You know, the dragon wings. It's just I like the creativity in the design of them. But while we're talking about the colossals, we've got not a ton of change where the board is right now. It's a little bit of back and forth. Rexa at 16. I love Rock as a spell. It's just such a
I know.
It's just Rock.
You get to be Charlie Brown. I got a rock.
With Horn of Winter going out, going to be able to...
I mean, what better way also to just negate the effect of this hero power? Who cares if you're giving your hero attack every turn if you're frozen?
Anything,
yeah.
Kind of an unfortunate pick of deck to go up against this current one. Groovy Cat is going to go out. And so now, yeah, I mean, Artanis is almost in the position for setup, but, for 2 turns, lifesteal and going to be freezing. That's a pretty rough spot to be in here. Spread the word is going to be able to increase a little bit as well. Oh, hello,
Zergling. The special artwork of it too. I gotta say, for signatures, I do love the one they did for the StarCraft, where it's the pixelated versions as a callback, retro.
Yeah. I'm always a fan when we get to see the history of a game series. I think sometimes we forget how far back games can go, especially just different series, and so seeing it's some of these games started out as 2D, more 2D art, pixel art. It's kind of a fun throwback to the start of everything. And now here we are watching.
And it's also just a cool aesthetic. Just pixel style is great.
I think the way that people will figure out how to deal with the more the limitations of pixel art to just make a more interesting design, it can be so eye-catching and interesting. And also pixel animation is really cool too. We can see him, chomping.
Yep.
Just idling there, peeking out from behind the larva. Oh, it's our little combo again,
Oh yeah, that's a good amount of damage.
There it is. That's what he's been looking for.
But remember, his hero power isn't fully buffed up, so it's only 15 damage burst.
Yeah. But we are seeing a little bit more of what is expected of hero power with that. There's the yelling yodeler.
Oh, and the larva turned into infestors too.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah, so he can use the yodeler now.
Okay, that's absolutely horrifying right there. Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, because you can bring out the infestor. And then the yodeler, and yeah, I mean, just, my goodness.
Fester Zergling. And he might actually, to save mana, not use the yodeler, but use the, Death Growl instead.
Yeah. That's
but
true.
I think he's got to use the yodeler because he doesn't have the location effect, which would have given them rush. So
yeah,
I'll take the trade there.
You don't want to let the bot
Why?
land, but
Oh,
like, hold
yeah.
on.
If
Wait,
you
wait,
want to
wait,
take
wait.
out that 1-4,
do
you've got
something.
to use the Yodeler.
Yeah, use the Yodeler first. Hold up. Yep, there we go.
There we go.
Okay. And now the board has become.
Yeah, there is the problem though of because the Divine Shield, the life steal and freeze effect didn't go through because of the Divine Shield on the hero, so he's actually left himself open here.
Yep, and there's the hero power again. Let's just see if RBR has what he needs.
He does.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, +3 attack. Yep. 6, 9. Yeah.
And then a swipe to end it all.
Yep. There it is.
I don't know if I like that voice line. The best you're good enough to infest. That's like, ugh. Okay, I'm glad that round ended when it did. I don't want to stick on that note for too long. So, one win in the common for
You know,
Commonwealth has
I guess
a win.
Third time's a charm for the hero power deck. It is out of the running, so we're going to have to roll it back on our deck here, Death Knight or Zergling Knight. Now it's going to be up to the other two decks, which was, let's see, it was Mage and
Terran Shaman.
Terran Shaman.
I just want to see the Mage. I do.
I'm curious about the Mage. You know, Mage is a. I mean, the spell combos that you can pull off as Mage are really fun. So I'd love to see what we get for this next matchup. Is it Terran Shaman or is it Mage? So as we get ready to hop into it, that will be the question of what they think will be the best foot forward for them.
Yeah, any Mage deck, though, that he's going to bring out is going to be, kind of Tier 3 or Tier 2. But in Conquest formats, sometimes it's about how good those decks counter the current meta deck. So, like, if it's really good...
Okay, it's going to be Shaman. All right, Bamboozled. Now, okay, there's the Death Growl, but not going to keep it. Frost Strike and Hive Creep. Oh, okay. Nothing we want, but there is some card draw in this area. I find it amusing at this point, every time we see this deck, our first question is just, okay, are you going to get what you need? We've had so many issues with that already.
A pleasure to see you.
I think many of these matches would have been much faster.
Yep.
If not for that.
That's not what we need. But we can get a card off of Frost Strike here. Okay, yeah, they have 3 damage Excavate. That's not the worst thing in the world. We can know if the Shaman got what they need, though, if they play the launch pad here. But nope, just a hero power. That's not a good sign for their opening mulligan.
Oh, and there's Reska.
Just use this again, see what we can get Frost-wise. I mean, yeah, we can Excavate twice. No, we'll just do the... I mean, that's still really good, actually, because now on turn 3, that'll trigger the finale.
Okay, so there is Gorgon's Ormu, which, getting him turn 3 is a really good spot to be in there. Okay, I'm going to get rid of him, but, really the scariest thing about him is what he puts in your hand.
Okay, that's really good for him. Lift off. And he's got the Banshee, too. Remember, that deals 5 damage when it's launched. Yeah, it's a board presence he's got to deal with. He's got some Banelings, though. Okay. And he's got this 3 that he discovered, so that'll clear it.
Okay, yep. Hardcore Cultist is a neat card.
But he's already got his Starship under construction. And with 5 mana, he's got the Gorgon's Ormu cheese, but he drew 2 Terran cards as well, so had he gotten a launch port, he could also bring that. Oh, he's going to go right in.
All right,
he wants to put the pressure on. 4/5, that's not bad.
4/5 with an effect.
Oh, no, buff them up. Hopefully buff at least 1 up with the Turbulus.
Oh, and the Hardcore Cultist on the other side. That's funny.
Thing is, though, is that one of the ones he got was Customs Enforcer, and that makes enemy cards that didn't start in your deck cost 2 more. So that means that Zergling and the Pouch of Coins that were generated are now too expensive.
Which is a really nice random card to gain. Because, if anything, that's a really detrimental thing for this particular deck that we're playing right now. Because getting all the little 1 cost cards off of what you create is just good to have. And so, you know, all of that, the stuff that the Zerg Queen is going to create just becomes painful right there. Yeah, that slows down this deck a lot.
Yeah, but that's a good amount of stats on board too, and considering he has 6 mana, he does have options to clear this out. He could use his Titan, but instead he'll use the Starport. Oh, and the Banshee, not the Banshee, the Liberator. Liberator or Banshee are going to be really good to get, because that's just more damage that is pressed out as the Starship is launched.
Okay,
and backstage bouncer.
Ooh,
that's a lot of stats.
That's a... Oh, and the Baneling Barrage isn't even really going to be good anymore either. Just... I mean, I guess...
But because they're generated, they cost 3 mana.
I know, that's
so
why I'm like... You gotta get rid of the customs. He's making this a...
He has only 2 mana left, though.
Yeah, I mean, what can you... I mean, you can use the Horn of Winter, but, you know,
yeah.
I don't know if you... I don't know what you do. I don't know.
Yeah, that Customs Enforcer was actually probably one of the best things he could have gotten, because he's used up his turn now.
Yeah, it stalled out for a turn here. Just slows everything
If you had used that pouch of coins a little earlier, you might have been able to coin into Kerrigan. But at this point, it's just coulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yep. Okay. Just gonna try and rack up the damage.
But
He's gonna get rid of the 1 bouncer, but not enough on the field yet, really.
I think this actually could be the final turn right here. He's got
I wouldn't
9.
be surprised.
Yeah. With that Starship, it has the Banshee and it has a Liberator on it. So that's 7 more damage hidden behind that. And he could, no, okay. I would say the best thing he could have done is if he had the tank, which he could use to take out the 2/5, but then to get the most damage out of that, he would have needed to also have the lock-on, which would have been another mana. He just doesn't have enough mana for that right now. SCV would be good to discount it. Okay, he'll launch that. Just the Liberator and the Banshee. There we go.
Yep.
Put out a missile pod.
Okay, let's see. 16, 11, yeah.
But
and
now the
totem.
scary thing is that the tanks are now online.
And of course it's the taunt totem too.
I mean, yeah, you play Kerrigan here. Nice board clear.
Okay, yep. A little more comfortable, but
thing is that
still.
clogs his hand. He's going to burn one next turn.
Yeah, just hope it's not something you really want.
Rezka, though, is getting cheap enough to play now, so that would be a good thing to, you know, possibly steal one of his starships should he launch a really big one.
You know, we talked a lot about, they wanted to reduce the cards that steal, but we have seen a lot of cards that steal so far, and that 9/9.
And that's why so many people are excited for the upcoming rotation, because the upcoming standard rotation gets rid of some of those last remaining problem cards. Or deals with them or nerfs them, and there was a big balance patch that is going to hit next week too. That it's just going to be. I'm really hopeful for this next year of Hearthstone.
Yeah. Okay.
Year of the Raptor.
Year of the Raptor. Okay, what's the plan here? That 9/9. 9/7/9/9. I mean, if you cannot get that off the board, you're done.
Rezka to take one of the 9s, sure.
You can't let them go through, so yeah. Okay. And now their one's gone, it's on your side. Get the Harbinger of Winter down. Larva goes into hand.
And also remember, with the rotation, a lot of the sets that are rotating out have a lot of those steelish cards. Like Rezka right there, Rezka's going to be leaving. Amun Thol is leaving all the Titans. Sargeras is leaving. There's a lot of very powerful cards. I mean, Titans and Showdown in the Badlands are such powerful sets.
Oh, there's Bob.
Yep, make him burn a turn.
Yeah. Okay.
There's nothing he can do except use his hero power.
Okay. And now, oh, that's a real unfavorable position there. Yelling Yoda.
He has no spells. He can only hero power.
Yep. Which clears some, but not enough.
Yeah, he's only 2 damage off.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, at 10 mana, that's not the hardest thing to find, too, so.
You are wicked.
Yep, here it is.
All right.
And that will be bringing us to 2-2 here.
That would have been funny if had it hit one of the Zerglings and done damage. So now we are going to have to see what this mage deck is to decide it here.
You get your wish for the mage deck. We will find out what the mage deck is.
Had I known it would make the match go this long, though, I might have wished a little differently.
Yeah, when I saw what deck it was, I almost went, if you really want to see it, I guess we'll just have to see if it ends up not going the way of the Broncos.
It's going to be Terran Warrior versus Mage.
Interesting. And we just have to see, because depending on the mage deck, that's really going to determine what we're looking at here. And we won't really know until the first cards get played off of this one, so. Time to find out. Okay.
Speak to me.
One Zergling, and the good news for Bamboozled is he's also got the Nidus Worm that'll help him draw, at least help him draw the Infestor, and he's got the Death Growl too, so he will have actually what he needs after so much searching and wishing. We will have a way to rather quickly get the Infestor's Death Rattles to go off. Seabreeze Chalice. That only helps him clear the board, though. Yeah, and he'll use the worm here. Get the Infestor.
Okay, Death Growl, Infestor, Baneling Barrage at 0, too. That's.
I mean, he could, next turn, he's got Infestor, Horn of Winter, can either use the Zerglings or the Banelings. Death Growl, good to go.
Yeah. Okay, 3/4.
Protoss Mage.
Yep, Protoss Mage.
And the thing is, Protoss Mage is a very control-ish deck. You're wanting to build up to that 9-mana minion that does damage to your enemies twice. And it's like a big board clear, takes your opponent's hero down very low. But if Bamboozle just buffs up before that, if he just really puts the pedal to the metal here.
Which we're seeing.
He doesn't even need to use the Horn of Winter. He's
got the Baneling Barrage, but 4 Banelings in hand is so crazy to see there. Oh, look at that. That is.
Now, even though this isn't the best way of trading, he's going to do it because he wants those Death Rattles to go off.
Yep.
And because, that gets rushed. Yeah, this actually does give a bigger board for him, have Addy rather. And then we go back to the Larva, our favorite.
Yeah, our little friend here, back again, hanging out with all the Banelings. Banelings and Larva, and...
Yeah, and so much of the Protoss strategy is discounting the big cards for later in the game, but I'm worrying there isn't going to be a later in the game here.
I don't know if we're going to be seeing that as, this is already... 8 damage on board from the Banelings, with 3 more in the back.
Oh, and he got the Hydralisk too. Remember, that's the one that does damage depending on how many Zerg you have on the board.
And
so
once you do that, they're just straight to the face. Not only do these Baneling just hurt from explosions, but, with the upgraded damage, you don't really get to leave them alone. Like, you would want to leave them alone if you could, but with the amount of damage they can output, you get put in between a rock and a hard place, and it's not going to end well, typically. Okay, Heat Wave. Yep. Ooh.
It's still not enough.
Yeah. It's also a lot of damage to take.
And the Sea Breeze. I mean, that's pretty good, actually. It gets rid of almost everything but the Infestor. Ooh, but the Viper. Viper is such a nasty card. He could put the other Baneling down and then Viper, and that gives all of his minions reborn, which means the Infestor goes off yet again.
Right, which is, you know...
Oh, and that is such a cool card. That's the one that
that
freezes an enemy minion and gives you armor. That's the main survival tool of this deck, and it's gone.
Okay, Tide Pool, Pupil, looking for a spell, but, you know, that's not going to...
Has to be one he's already played too, so he can get a Stargazing, draw again. Now he only has 2 mana. Discover a spell, reduce cost by 2, so there's not a 2-mana spell that can get him out of this situation. That is going to do it. Boise State winning their first in this round robin. In the 5th round, 3-2, but the Broncos are on the board.
Yeah. And as you were talking about earlier, being on the board means that there is a potential to continue forward.
There is a hope, but there isn't much time left. So we better get on this 4th and final match as soon as we can, because this is the match. Boise State already lost 2 games. That means they're on the bubble. Any game that they've lost after this, and they're essentially out of the running.
Yeah, this will be the determiner. If they get that 2-2, 50-50, they will be in a comfortable position to see where this all goes. But like you said, 3 strikes, you're out. So as we get ready to launch into this match, we'll have to see kind of where this is going to shake up, you know, with the decks. We know what Broncos are going to be playing. The question is what we're seeing.
Well, they're going to be playing University of Redlands, who is bringing Hero Power Druid, Weapon Rogue, Terran Shaman, and Zerg DK. Death Knight.
You know, we were talking about Weapon Rogue earlier and how it's a very interesting, let's say, deck.
I don't like it.
I'm kind of glad to see a little bit of difference in
That's fair.
You know, it's nice when we see, you know, Zerg, Protoss, Protoss, and then just ship. It's nice to see a little bit of, you know, out of the current meta here. Well, I mean, it's the rogue meta, I suppose. You know, that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. And this means that there are a few decks for Boise State that are especially vulnerable. I mean, you've got remember, he's still bringing the Zerg Warlock. That was banned last time, but that wasn't banned this time. Terran Shaman was banned, so Zerg Warlock will get, if you don't have the taunts, that's going to get eaten alive by Weapon Rogue.
Yeah, Weapon Rogue just takes that laughs and continues forward for all the healing and shenanigans as per usual with a rogue deck.
I mean, and shenanigans this time is to play as little minion as possible. Just buff up your weapon.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about Colossals, and as soon as I saw Rogue was in the meta again, it just made me think about Krakatoa.
Oh, I miss Krakatoa.
I miss Krakatoa.
Oh, yeah.
Our favorite, you know, one of our favorite Colossals to see.
Yeah.
And, you know, I saw Weapon Rogue, and I'm like, oh, Krakatoa. But it's a new version of Weapon Rogue.
Those were the days.
Those were the days where it was just the giant crab. But, oh, hello, Boom Boss Thogren. Yeah, not going to be useful immediately here. I always find it amusing when the really high-cost mana cards show up in the starting hand, where it's just like, just letting you know, I'm still around. But it's typically not a safe thing to keep in hand unless you really can get it out at some point early on. So let's see. It looks like it's going to be Warrior versus Rogue.
I read you. Do you read me?
And there will be a lot of taunts to deal. I think this is one of the better matchups for Boise State against Weapon Rogue, because there are so many taunts here that it will keep that weapon and all that damage it can push through at bay.
Yeah, I think, the shields are the way to go as we get into this setup. You know, Jim Raynor, early on, not a great thing to see here, but with the Starship port to be able to start setting up those ships, it's going to be a good spot here. The question is, as we can see, we do have the quick pick coming out for Weapon Rogue, as that's going to be something that they want. Use the Mana Crystal, drop some cards earlier into play as we get ready to go into this here. You know, Weapon Rogue's main gimmick, weapons make them strong, and Quick Pick is that card draw to help you get everything you need for the later weapons. It's not the scariest thing in the deck here.
I mean, it mainly is that card draw, and you give it the added durability, so you just keep adding fuel to the fire. But yeah, here we go. This is going to be... Now, taunts are good, but there are a few tricks that Rogue has here to get rid of a few enemy minions and just keep pushing the damage.
And you know, Ceaseless, this is one of the times where Ceaseless isn't as much of a card you want to see. You know, you're talking about minions aren't the name of the game for Weapon Rogue, so we're not as afraid of the idea of, you know, a Ceaseless just ending a board setup. And so that's kind of a dangerous prospect for our team here, the Broncos.
And they'll use the Rogue gift to give that weapon more attack, which means they probably have the silence here. Yeah, the deafen.
Yep.
That'll silence that, so Boise State can't draw another taunt minion, which will make this situation even worse for them. And then with the mic drop 2 to draw 2 cards, give the weapon even more attack. And that's 10 damage right
You know, I was talking about this not being the scariest weapon, but it still is a pretty nasty one. Quick pick just...
Ready to plunder.
Card draw, durability, damage. It's just a nasty combo to deal with, and right now, don't exactly have what you want against this type of deck either. Going to get rid of the silenced minion, but facing the prospect of 7 damage to the face while your opponent, you know, Redlands here, is at 30. Oh, harmonic hip hop. Okay. Oh my goodness.
Yep, gives the weapon
There it
even
is.
more attack. And you got another deadly poison as well to get this 12 attack. The weapon finally breaks, but he can just use his hero power to get a new one and then just start the buffing game all over again.
Oh, yep.
Or just eviscerate right there.
And yeah, jeez.
Yeah, it's time to tank up. Just try to get as
just
much. That's
hold on, but
Weapons prime.
you know, depending on what the Rogue has in hand, that might not be enough.
Yeah, if they use the hero power to regain their weapon, then that's going to
As long
leave
as they
them
have
with
enough
just
buffing,
4
yeah.
mana, but Rogue has so much cheap stuff that...
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of Rogue's bread and butter is cheap stuff and also making things cheaper. So, you know.
Yep, gotta get those combos going. Discover a quick draw card. There are a couple of good ones in there. Wonder if he has the worm would deal 5, but then he'd only have 1 mana left. But he's going to use it.
Yep.
Now he's got 1 mana to do 4. And
Yeah,
yeah,
he
he's not
doesn't
going to have
have
enough
it.
there, so he's just going to
Gives-
settle for the worm.
Okay. Another opportunity, and the Arcanite Defense Crystal is going to give some taunt room. And, yeah, getting a
Just
launch
for
off
the-
for the armor
yep.
is a good play here. You just... Not when the Rogue is looking at you with all of these buffs just to hit you in the face. Doesn't even need the minions. Just going to rush you themselves.
If you can survive the initial burst of damage, then the Rogue has nothing to work with. And that's why I did say this was probably one of the more favorable matchups. The only way the Rogue can keep this alive for themselves is if they've got the Deafen, because, I mean, they can destroy this, but what they're really not going to want is the Death Rattle and the fact that that's going to go into another Starship.
Okay, there is some damage onto the dagger, but not enough to get them where they need to be. With that, we are going to get another starport, 2 starports hanging out. A lot of the late game tools are in our court right now for the Broncos here. Launching the Arcanite Defense Crystal once again just to create more room.
And a big thing is going to be Jim Raynor next turn. I mean, if he can relaunch those starships, he'll get the armor again from the Viking, set up this other taunt.
Okay, there's preparation.
I mean, this is kind of the start of the final big push. He'll draw 3 cards, destroy that, but that still gives the armor over.
Okay, what's the next cards? That's the real question. Is like, what does the Rogue have in the back pocket here? I can't imagine them getting the 18 damage they need. No, the 19 damage they need. Yeah, that's...
At least not since Raynor will resummon everything and give him 5 on top of that, 5 armor on top of that. I mean, they aren't the biggest and best starships to launch, but
when you're dealing with what this rogue is, it's a really good way to...
Whatever it takes.
It's just going to stall out what you can do. And I mean, okay, fair constellation.
Yeah, he can regain the mana crystals, have enough. Or he could just gain 15 armor and just call it a day.
Okay, yep, refresh that.
3. Use the Amada cannon. I mean, yeah, that's still enough armor to keep him in the running.
I mean, it brings him up to where he was a little bit right before Weapon Rogue tried to go all out again last turn. So now it's just back to Redland's side and time to see how they handle this next turn. You know, unfortunately for them, this isn't even the end. If they can't end it here, it is Raynor. You know, Raynor is there. There's damage to be done and shields to be put right back up. Okay.
I mean, he can draw 3 more cards, but this is the thing. We're running out of gas, and they're going to have no deck here really soon. Yeah, it's extremely thinned out right now. Deal 2 damage, gain a coin, but I mean, right now it's just the numbers aren't there. He can't do the damage that he wants with this weapon. I mean, he is close. I'll give him that. I mean,
he has the benefit of being at full health right now, and so the question is just whether or not he finds what he needs out of this. Okay, he is going to go up to 10, go for that big damage.
Yeah, it's still not enough, and you can tell he's already hovering here. Just end this. Any last chance?
Yamato cannon. Bring it out. Do it.
They aren't big starships, but they all help you gain armor, which is just what you need to tank this out. And you can, with Jim Raynor's hero power, also get a taunt on board, another taunt on board.
That is true.
I mean, 1 Viking and 1 defense crystal, but it's enough. That's, you know your win condition.
Yeah, that might... Yeah, I think this is the... This might be the coffin that the rogue is going to have to lie down in a second. A lot of mana to work with, but just depends on the cards.
The best they can hope for is something off the quick draw here to clear the 2 taunts, but again, that death rattle triggers, and they can't buff up that weapon enough.
Okay, deal 2 damage, get a coin, 1 taunt. That is 2 coins in the back pocket, if I remember correctly. Okay, yep,
the deafen, okay, that's... Yeah, he needed to silence that. So he's 8 damage off. I mean, he can get the deadly poison, that's 2, but he's running out of mana here.
He's got 12. Well, he does have 2 coins, if I remember
And
correctly.
he's got 14.
Okay, he's running out of time. There's the coins.
And the coin.
What you gonna do?
And the other coin. Oh, he can do it, yes!
He has it. Oh my goodness,
eviscerate, he found it.
Wow.
Oh, he found it.
Wow. Yep, and there it is. All off of the basic hero dagger, too.
Yep.
Wow, look at that. I mean, so Weapon Rogue, we see it one time now.
And I'm glad we're seeing it one time because of that. Yeah, because, I mean, if you have fun playing it, more power to you. I just think at the very least, Hearthstone should be a game where you play for the board. And you just buffing up your weapon so that you have hardly any minions on the board and you just keep doing damage from hand and to their face. It really gives me a lot of Stormwind vibes, and I don't like that.
I miss Potion Rogue, where you were mixing all the concoctions
together. That was
together.
fun.
That was just another fun set of cards and gimmicks. That was just a really fun thing. And those all were going on the board because it was Rogue throwing minions down, getting the concoctions, and then you just unleash a horde of random effects. So that's not what we're going to be seeing this time around, though. We're going to be swapping back to some of the things we've been seeing with Death Knight and Warrior. Running it back with the Warrior, and believe this is Zerg
Ready for action.
Knight? Or?
Yep. Yeah, it wouldn't be anything else. It's Zerg DK. But I mean, just to show it's like, I don't have anything against Rogue. It's like one of the most fun decks ever, and I think one of the best decks ever. Even when it wasn't meta, people still played it till the very end. And it's one that's rotating out with Badlands going away, was the Excavate Discover package.
Yeah,
that you would just keep getting those random spells and trying to discount them. I mean, that was a fun deck to play.
Yeah. Rogue has had some really fun gimmicks in the past. And I hope to see more of that. Especially considering Rogue can really struggle in the meta sometimes.
And then, but on the contrast, when Rogue's good in the meta, it's really good in the meta.
Oh, yeah.
To somewhat oppressive, and then people say that Blizzard must be full of Rogue mains because they clearly favor Rogue. So, you know.
Yeah. Nidus Worm going out. Going to be drawing those cards. You know, nice to see this deck on the opposing side for a little bit here. As we just have to try and work through this warrior deck.
And smell.
Do have the taunts, which is good.
Well, it's going to be the same story on their side as it was on our side. How quick can they get that Infestor buff going?
And we do have Bob in the back line as well, so...
Oh, Infestor.
Oh, okay, that's
and with the
real fast. Oh. Ooh, this is a fast.
Yeah, they've got... Oh, I
that's
thought they were going to play Horn of Winter. Okay, if Boise State can actually...
Okay.
Yeah, they can clear this, so...
Yeah, that's good.
So that only goes off once.
Which is good to see. No Horn of Winter to back up the play. They're going to get some benefit, but not as much as they want.
Yeah, that's very risky just putting it out there against the Warrior, because there are those one-mana spells and just so much board clear in general.
Warrior's bread and butter is armor and board clear.
It's either that or sometimes it sometimes does take a more aggressive stance. Pirate Warrior, when it goes, is usually pretty aggressive.
Pirate Warrior is very interesting. You know, I think it's cool and like also just kind of funny that the Warrior deck doesn't always tend to be the most aggressive of the decks. That it is a little bit more of a bunker down and like stay the course.
Yep. Oh, it's hero power, gain 2 armor, you know,
Yep.
it's all defense.
Yeah.
Which means that the offensive cards usually have to be pretty good, you know. Although hero power is really... They're going to change that, though, with the next... I was about to say hero powers don't really dictate the game too much, but the big thing about Emerald Dream is the fact that you give your classes new hero powers and then you imbue them to make them more and more and more powerful.
Yeah, that's one of the gimmicks. All right. Options, it seems, for Redlands here.
Problem is, with that, with 3/5 on board, then it still has its spell burst ready to go, so that means another Infestor, unless you have the tools you need to pull off the combo and keep that Death Rattle rolling. He's only got one more in his deck, possibly hand, and he's going to have Born of Winter, too, to play it with the... No, he's just going to play for the draw.
Okay. Running out of time to use that 2 mana. Okay.
Well, kind of an odd situation that Bamboozled is the one taking the more aggressive tone here, but, I mean, yeah, he's got the...
And now he can begin the starships here with Starport and the ships right here. Yep, going to begin. Oh, there's the medic. Reminding us from its previous... Oh, and Ziliax getting the discount.
Yeah, that's on Kiliax on 7. That's kind of game.
Yeah, Redlands when that pops out, unless they have something to take it out. Unless they have Bob, I suppose. Bob's there, but you know we've seen what can happen when Ziliax gets traded back and forth with a Bob.
Oh, the Viper brings out Bob.
Oh no. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Oh.
But this could also be a count your blessings kind of thing, too, because, I mean, you can bring out on Killiax, get rid of the Viper. And then you got 2 Banelings, which, again, they'll be able to... I mean, just the effect right there gets rid of them. So, I mean, yeah, just go Killy here.
Yep, there it
It's
is.
a lot of show, but not for any real gain as Killiax hits the board.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the stickiest cards now, hanging on, and it does seem like some of the momentum that Redlands had with Infestor earlier might be gone, but it is back, so
here it is.
There's the Death Growl. Okay.
And he'll pop the location so that everything has rush now.
Mm-hmm. He's got 2 mana to work with, so he's going to go for, yep.
That'll be the first buff. Set them
Ziliax,
3/3s, use the other
down.
Zerglings.
Yep. Continue the train. Slow and steady to knock out the Ziliax here. Kind of an incredible amount of cards that it takes to knock Ziliax out there.
Now, I did say if Unkilliax hits the board, you know, on turn 7, that's game. That does depend on can he find the hydration station to bring it back.
Yeah.
Already 1 Viper has been used, and of course another big question about the long term of this game is going to be whether he has the Kerrigan in hand. I was gonna.
Yeah, that'll change things. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, he's already at full health. I would have wanted the disruption maybe a little more, but
we'll get to see. Might be in preparation for something like.
I mean, one of these cards is one that Ham could have eaten. So 5 mana though. Considering how cheap Zerg can be, and that they're all buffed up now. Yeah, the Hive Queen at 6/9. That's
6/9.
Yep, two of them. That's really nasty.
Yeah, those 5/5s. Taunt is gone.
Saying whether he wants, he'll clear board. Yamato Cannon now heads into the starship, so when that launches, that'll destroy an enemy minion. He can trade with the Viking. Can trade with the Viking, and then that makes the Yamato a little bit easier. That's a really good draw there.
Okay, yeah.
That'll make that starship cheaper. Concussive Shells to get rid of the other Zergling, because he wants that Yamato to hit one of the 6/9s, and then Ham the Hungry.
Yep, take something out from the deck. Nope.
But I mean, here's the thing: the opponent is already through a lot of their deck here, so what's left is the main question. And the Starport, oh man, I think that's. I mean, I think he needs to take back control of the board. Oh, no, it's the 2/2. Oh, that's...
Okay, Ham the Hungry going down. There is some good taunts on the board, but not what he wants.
Yeah.
Those 6/9 Hive Queens are just going to stick there.
And keep giving
larva over and over and over again. And they can chew through the 2/2 taunts. And, I mean, the 12/10 Reborn will stick, but I mean, now it's just a question of like finding something off of this here.
He's the hydration station. Needs to find it. He's got a shield block. He's also got ETC, so maybe something in his sideboard can help him. But the way he's not attacking the starship makes me think he's got a pretty good clear here.
I wouldn't be surprised. We haven't really seen a lot of Banelings, so I wouldn't be shocked if he had a couple in his hand right now. Hey, you've got all your mana in minimal time.
Trade the Snake Oil.
Okay. Larva. Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
That's a good deal of damage.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, the Reska. Yeah. Oh, that's a masterful play, and you don't even need to attack. Just take it. That's.
That is going to be, I think.
That's masterful.
That that might be the finale here for Bamboozled.
Yeah, he's not much he can do.
I mean, he's got a lot of shield, but just that board. I mean, okay.
I mean, Hostile, what?
What can he do? Everything has so much health.
And the thing is, if he plays that, that's just going to make it more likely that the Reska pops. And so that'll take another control of the board. Oh, and he draws the gift. He could have gotten the brawl.
And
but
hydration station
he can. Well, he can, actually. I think if he just gains 3 mana crystals. Yeah, he can. Okay, he can get the brawl.
Okay, that's good.
Just hope.
That is what he... Okay, time to find out.
Oh, of course. It's the one with Wind Fury that stays alive.
Oh, that is going... Well, that's an insta-shred through shield right there.
Unforgettable.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
Kerrigan, yep. Deal 3 damage to all enemies. Yeah, just 2 more 6/9 Hive Queens. Redland's in a really comfortable position here. Wow. Oh, that brawl was almost salvation too.
It was, but sometimes the cards just don't go in your favor, and now we're all out of all that shield.
Down to 22. So, okay.
I mean, hydration, yeah, Unkiliax.
Yeah, you gotta get Unkiliax out. Try and get rid of the Reborn there. It's a lot less scary without the Wind Fury, but still.
And that's his turn.
Yeah.
Oh, Bomb Boss. Oh, might be a day late and $1 short with that one.
Yeah. Took him long enough. I feel like that's kind of the motto of the night with a lot of these cards. It's like, took you long enough to get here, to show up for these very instrumental turns.
Tan mana, a lot to work with Zerg.
He's gonna go down, but Reborn.
And the hero power that can chew through that. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Giving. Oh, something. Okay. That's.
I know, right? We're like, what is it? It's just, hello.
I mean, that does have Rush, so that can get rid of Unkilly, so. Or any of the taunts that he has.
Okay.
Circling to 5. Let's get as much as he can.
I mean, that will, yeah. Ooh. Okay. 3 mana left. Just go for Zilly. And now, there's not a lot here between Boise State and Redlands.
If he keeps the board wide, then that means that certain effects like the Yamato Cannon are just less likely to hit those 6/9s that are just going to keep giving him more and more ammunition to work with. I mean,
yeah, this is...
And if he uses Bomb Boss, that's most all of his mana too.
Whatever
It's good damage, but it's just, like you said, a little too late here.
And there's a situation where Bomb Boss might not even hit the queens at all, so.
It's true, yeah.
Or he plays Bomb Boss, and it gets shuffled into a very thin deck, but he doesn't draw the TNT, because there's still the possibility. Well, we're going to have to go this way.
It's what we can work with here.
Clock ticking.
And just gain Starport or gain armor. Gonna bring out the Starport, even though it's not gonna have
ship launch, I suppose.
Nope.
And yeah, that's
most likely
a wrap.
I mean, I would say that with the board full, they probably can't play too much, but with Bomb Boss thrown on the board, that means that they could sacrifice, you know, this 1/4.
Yeah, and then they have room.
They have room to play.
Yeah, there they go. Okay.
And then they play some sort of Zerg card, maybe the Hydralisk.
Yeah, let's find out. Really thinking about this one.
I think it is probably enough damage, though, to...
Yeah. I will say, I really like that card backing for...
Oh, yeah, that's Reska's card back.
I love that. It's a good card back. Okay. Oh, 16.
Oh, yep, that's
Lurker.
pretty bad too.
Yep. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that is going to be a pretty big.
Gives him room also to play another Zerg.
I think that's what he wants. Yeah. Okay, hold up.
There's the Hydralisk.
Yep. Okay, this is. There it is.
Yep.
There
That's GG's right there. Yep,
Well,
with the Lurker.
Yep. All right.
Well, that's 2 down for Redlands, and we are vastly approaching the possible end of Boise State's run tonight and chance to go into the playoffs. The only thing left, the only thing that we can hope for Boise State to stay alive is that they can beat the Hero Power Druid enough times. 3 times they got to beat that Hero Power Druid.
You know, I was really excited to see Hero Power Druid earlier, but then we watched 3 matches of it in a row, and I would like to see it again because Boise State being able to get through and continue on is great, but also 3 more rounds of Hero Power Druid would be a lot.
But
so
we also know that it's a very crucial there's a very crucial power spike and then a lull afterwards. Because if you've stabilized after Artanis comes on the board and you're constantly clearing their board, then the Hero Power Druid just sort of peters out. You know, it's it really has its spike in the mid-game.
We've done it before, like multiple times. I mean, the last Hero Power Druid had to go all 3 before it was able to actually be cleared. So like it went through 2 decks. So it's like, you know, that was how BSU got the win last time. So get ready to jump into this one. Hero Power Druid versus Boise State.
Ragnaros!
We're going
Oh, he's got the Fellfire Ragnaros. Well, if you're going to go out, you might go out with a skin as infamous as the recolored Ragnaros. So now we know who actually bought it.
Oh.
Okay, if we're putting our faith in Fellfire Ragnaros, I am halfway off this desk right now.
So that's where we're at, is
Yeah.
Fellfire Ragnaros. Oh, well, the Piper goes out. We know what's going to be summoned off of that. It's good old Groovy Cat.
I will say it is kind of serendipitous that it came with the Naxxramas board. We got a lot of green going on.
Right? It's got theming for it, you know?
Put out the Hydralisk, that'll pop the Groovy Cat. Now we've got 3 damage behind that Hero Power. Boise State, good news for them is that they do have one of those taunts.
Yeah, which is exactly what they need for this deck here.
And, oh, the Trapdoor Spider. That actually is a pretty good counter to the possibility of the Spine Crawler. I mean, he has to play the Zergling to get rid of it. So, yeah, it doesn't really disrupt too much. 2 of them, though, does the job.
Yeah, that's a... Oh, hey, Bob.
He's going to have to play another Ultralisk Cavern to get rid of one of the spiders.
You know, I will say... We were talking about Bob a lot. The one thing I do find very amusing about Bob is just like in very standard like civilian casual clothing with a massive sword. I just love the dichotomy between the image there for him.
Right now it's just drawing cards and trying to get closer to that Artanis. Nothing really to follow up with on the board.
Oh, hello. Nice to see you early in the game.
Now he can play the taunt. Push some Zerglings out. Get some more. We'll flood the board. This is asking for a swipe, though.
Yeah. What is this, Flood Paladin?
Yeah, but there's no aura to back it up is the problem, so...
I have a Flood Paladin deck right now. Just because it was off of the offer for it, and I forgot how satisfying it can be if you get it set up right.
Mm-hmm. I'm still beside myself that he actually decided to go with Feltfire Ragnaros.
I know.
That's probably one of the most infamous skins to be released so far for Hearthstone.
+3 attack this turn, and the armor.
The swipe, yep, that's 3
that's
mana.
Going to be. Yep. Just knock out the taunt.
He's just one turn away from the other Ultralisk Cavern, so that comes online with the Forge of Wills next turn. That means he will have 2 8/8s to work with. Cactus Construct brought out. Can only discover a 2-mana minion. So I don't think you don't get another spider, do you? Now you just go with Dark Gifts again, I suppose.
Mixologist. Hey, potion!
I mean, it's nothing like the rogue concoctions once were.
But it's nice to see every now and again, you know? Reminder of the good old days.
A thin whisper of the past. I mean, gain 4 armor, draw a card. Sure.
Okay,
Innervate.
Okay. Oh,
and
yeah,
the other Groovy Cat.
Yeah, get it out, yeah.
But yeah, this is the big pop-off turn. You use the Ultralisk Cavern, get your 8/8s. And y'all do that with no mana. He's still got 6 left to spend.
Which is a great thing to see, 2 8/8s there.
And there aren't really too many big minions you would want to steal with Bob. I mean, I wonder if he just uses this more for the value proposition, because you can discover 3-cost minions, discover and refresh 3 mana crystals, or find a triple to draw a minion and get 2 copies of it.
Oh!
Oh! Well then, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe the Felfire Ragnaros is the way to go after all. He discovers 2 more Ceaseless Expanses.
Would you like a side of Ceaseless with your side of Ceaseless with your Ceaseless? I mean, oh, that's so funny. Okay, but imagine if you got that for some of the other, like, decks that you're facing. Just because, I mean, we talked about how Hero Power Druid is low minion count, but it's still so funny. I mean, I suppose if anything, the amount of damage potential you do get off of just Ceaseless as a card.
He might actually... I mean, Symphony of Sins, he could get that, the buff card. Gives a minion in his hand. Hand, field, and deck +6/+6. Doesn't draw that. He could also do 6 to the enemy hero and lifesteal. That gives him a good... And he could just go face with everything here, really force that lethal. Get another 8/8 to clear out one of the Zealots. Clear with Bob, so... Yeah, he's still threatening lethal here.
Yeah, no, it's doable. Gosh, just watching the 3 Ceaseless tick down.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. I will say, it also just has really good card art.
Yeah, the signature version of Ceaseless Expansion. Yeah, that I think it does look really nice. But I mean, at this point, I mean, they all kind of are the win condition for this game, because even if the Artanis manages to survive for the next few turns, those Ceaseless are going to be there to destroy any sort of board he builds up. So with 8 here, I mean, he's got a few. I think he might have a few of those Chrono cards left that can summon the Zealots with charge. At this point, that still would be actually 20 damage in burst, but since the Zealot has 3, that would mean he'd be 1 short.
Oh, the mind control tech. Okay, remove the 8.
Yeah, that's not
Ooh,
bad.
That's
can
a
attack.
good play, yeah. Ooh, okay.
But he won't go for lethal, which I actually think Bamboozold's probably breathing a huge sigh of relief at that.
Yeah.
Because he could use Kerrigan here.
Give himself some more room to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Reverberations, yeah.
He could use the reverberations, get a copy of the 8/8, Forge of Wills on it.
Yep, there it is. Look at
And
that.
then he can take care of the... Yep, now only take 1 damage and be gone. Forge of Wills.
My goodness, that's a play. Redland's going from a pretty comfortable spot right there just to an instant uncomfortable moment once again.
Interesting choice. Do you go with the Ironbound Giant to keep both on the board, but risk both of them being cleared out a little bit more? Or do you just, since it dies in 1 hit anyway, you use the 8/8? So he'll decide to do the value trade, keep them both on board. Should be a little bit safer. Because even with a swipe here, you'd have to use his hero power to clear it, but then that doesn't leave too much on his board. And then Sarg comes down next turn.
Yeah.
And basically...
That's it, yeah.
Sarg and then 3 Ceaseless if the Sarg doesn't work for you.
Hey, if the Sarg can't do it, maybe 3 Ceaseless, you know? It might do something.
I love how I was setting it up like, okay, Bob can't do one of his big, moves here. Maybe he can get a little bit of value out of it, but it's
just
probably...
something. And of course it's Ceaseless. Okay,
Oh.
Leroy, okay.
And hero power triggers twice. This
that is
might
pretty
be, that's it. That's enough. He's got it.
Wow, and there's hero power. Redlands doesn't know that they truly were sweating this entire time with the Ceaseless in the back pocket.
And there goes the hero power druid to win it and win the match with Leroy Jenkins, of all things. But
that's why he's in the deck.
Yep, that's why he's in the deck and why he'll be rotating out really soon. But that means 3 losses for Boise State. It means we come to the end of our journey.
I mean, a lot of really good matchups, a lot of unfortunate draws, I think, with just specific decks for Boise State. And, I'm happy we got to see the 3 Ceaseless. That was very fun at the end there.
I still had a lot of fun.
And I enjoyed all of it. That's the fun of Hearthstone, though. There's so much fun, random stuff we won't expect. Randomness is a scary thing in games because, you like to be able to control it. But I find that a lot of the random combos in Hearthstone are just fun to watch.
It's all about that balancing act. You want just enough to be unpredictable, but not enough to, completely steal games away from you.
Yeah. You don't want it to just be frustrating to see a random card go out. But when it has its moments, they hit in a very fun way. And, even when you get hit by it, it can be an amazing
Yeah, I know.
thing to
It
see.
is still fun to watch.
So, yeah, but overall, that was our games for tonight. We didn't get to the last one, but we saw overall where this is going to be. And it's great to be able to check in on Hearthstone, as it is a favorite here at the arena. But that is all we have for you tonight. So thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time.
But the problem is if he does that, it's a big enough board. Oh, does he risk it? He only has stray health. Oh, is he going to go? He's going to go. Is he going full baller? He is. Oh, everyone hates to see it. Nice minion you play.
Get rid of the other Unchiliacs as well.
Oh, he got Zerimi!
Oh, nice. Oh, and there's the TNT, which we just were talking about.
And it gets rid of Artanis, too. Oh, that's a nasty one.
My goodness. Wait, that's so good.
That is so good.
Oh, so anyway, if you thought the board was a problem,
you just use Ceaseless again.
In the back.
Oh, and he got the Hydralisk, too. Remember, that's the one that does damage depending on how many Zerg you have on the board.
And
so
once you do that, they're just straight to the face. Not only do these Bane...
Stargazing, draw again. Now he only has 2 mana. Discover a spell, reduce the cost by 2. So there's not a 2 mana spell that can get him out of this situation. That is going to do it. Boise State winning their first in this round robin. In the